agreed to work with prosecutors trying to get into his Apple products. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Police in suburban Atlanta may have had trouble staying awake as they counted sheep when a flock escaped an enclosure and blocked the road. Police in Brookhaven were called in to herd them up, and they were spotted by motorists. They ultimately called in a sheepdog. Karen Chase, ABC News.
Local news is brought to you by Fred Holmes Tree Service. FredHolmesTreeService.com, 427-4489.
From the iFIBER ONE Newsradio studios, I'm Mary Lynn Foster. We have an update on the Lake Boulevard Pioneer Way Improvement Project. Starting today through April 11th, the contractor will be installing and curing concrete curb and gutters on Lake Boulevard between University and the city limits. Starting Tuesday, April 5th at 7 a.m., the contractor will be installing concrete curb and gutters on Lake Boulevard between University and the city limits on the even-numbered addresses side of the street. Residents living on the even side of the street will not be able to park curbside or have access to and from their driveways, but can park across the street that day and night. Starting April 6th at 7 a.m., the contractor will be installing concrete curb and gutters on Lake Boulevard between University and the city limits on the odd number addresses side of the street. Residents living on both sides of the street can only park on the even side of the street that day and night. And residents on both sides of the street will still not have access to and from their driveways until Monday evening, April 11th, to allow sufficient time for the concrete to cure. But curbside parking will be allowed. This week, not only did the Washington State Legislature pass a supplemental budget, they also overrode Governor Jay Inslee's 27 vetoes. 35th District Representative Drew McEwen talked with Daybreak about that.
We did, in conjunction with the Senate, override 27 vetoes by the governor, and put that in context. The last time a bill was overridden by the legislature was in 1998. It was one bill. So there were 27 veto overrides that were done, and those bills are now officially law without the governor's support. So that was a fairly significant item last night as well.
Inslee vetoed the 27 bills on March 10th when the state legislature hadn't passed a supplemental budget during regular session. The 27 overrides came immediately after the Republican Senate agreed on a budget with the Democratic House. You can hear the full interview with Representative McEwen on the Daybreak page at iFIBER1newsradio.com. Habitat for Humanity of Mason County plans to build its 25th house in Shelton, and a groundbreaking ceremony is scheduled for tomorrow. Executive Director Marty Crow told Daybreak more about it.
Also, we're enjoying our 20th anniversary on that same day of the affiliate. In 20 years, we've built 25 homes. This last year, we spent a great deal of time supporting about 40 families in home preservation activities, helping them maintain and restore and stay in their homes. So there's a couple of efforts going on, a combination of new home construction and also preserving existing homes. So we've had a lot of fun, a lot of work's been done over the last few months.
The ceremony begins at 10 tomorrow morning on the building site at 2137 Washington Street, and the public is invited to attend. For iFIBER ONE News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3, I'm Mary Lynn Foster.
It's about your life and your money. It's the Dave Ramsey Show.
Self-control, self-discipline. It's one of the most powerful things that a human being can learn. Parents who do not teach their children discipline do not set them up for the ability to learn to discipline themselves or control themselves, because you are not teaching your child self-control. Consequently, we've raised a wussified generation. Hi, this is Dave Ramsey. Tune into my show weekdays from noon to 3 on iFIBER ONE News Radio.
Gillis Auto Center in Shelton. Best deals, best price, best trade, and low payments. Whether you're looking for a car, truck, hybrid, SUV, or performance car, we have them at the all-new Gillis Auto Center. Just go to Gillis, where low overhead and low sales tax means great savings for you. Family-owned Gillis Auto Center, where you get the lowest price at professional, courteous service. The all-new Gillis Auto Center in Shelton at the City Center Matlock exit and 24/7 at GillisAutoCenter.com.
Now, from the all-new Gillis Auto Center Sports Desk, here's Jeff Slakey.
Well, thank you. Good morning. Thursday, AM 1030 and FM 103.3, 608. Shelton softball exploded for 10 runs in the second inning on their way to a 16-6 victory over Capital. It was a big win for the High Climbers, now moved to 3-0 on the young season. Check out the website later today, as Sports Director Sean Wells will have full video highlights from the big win, including interviews with players and coaches. Seattle ace Felix Hernandez pitched 3 innings in the Mariners' 7-5 loss to the San Diego Padres yesterday in his final start before opening day. Hernandez allowed 4 runs, all in the first, and 4 hits. Struck out 1 and walked 1. The Mariners have made enough moves now to fill out their 40-man roster, and they're getting ready to go. We've got a couple more games today and through the weekend. Opening day Monday against Texas, pregame at noon. Bellarmine prep guard Malachi Flynn and Linwood star Michaela Pivick have been voted to the 2016 AP Washington State Basketball Players of the Year for all classifications. Results of the voting conducted by sports writers and editors from around the state were announced yesterday. Both Flynn and Pivick were also voted the Players of the Year in their respective classifications. Sports Director Sean Wells will be on the air with us at 8:15 today. He's going to be covering the Shelton soccer game versus Wilson, and we'll talk about some softball, Final Four predictions, and Mariners baseball just around the corner. In addition to the boys soccer taking on Wilson at Shelton, looks like the boys and girls golfers will be heading down to the Tumwater Valley, taking on Olympia there at the Valley Golf Course. Good course. What I like about the Valley Golf Course is nice and flat, open, wide. For me, it's great because I'm all over the place. Also today, girls tennis at Timberline against Timberline. 6:11 now at iFIBER ONE Newsradio. Checking the South Sounds forecast, here's Carol.
Good morning. It's going to be another sunny day. Highs in the upper 60s and low 70s. Yesterday or today is going to be the warmest day of the year so far.
Isn't every next day the warmest day? No,
it's not going to always continue upward trend, but tomorrow will be likely warmer, and the sunshine looks like it's going to stay for a few more days. I'm looking at some of the high temps yesterday in Shelton Airport. 73.
Okay.
It's the highest out of about 10 or 12, maybe 15 airports that they registered yesterday. It's pretty cool. The lowest was Whidbey Island, 58.
But I think that's the hottest spot in the whole state, no? Or just airports?
Well, it's Northwest Seattle. It's just the airports that they had listed. There's about 20 airports listed.
Oh, okay.
So like Shelton Airport, 73, Olympia, 71. So, not too bad. Not too bad around the area.
It's that degree right there.
Yeah, so right now, though, it's around the high 30s to the low 40s in the South Sound area.
It's Daybreak, providing local news, sports, weather, and interviews to the South Sound's most important people. You, from business leaders to politicians, from activists for change to advocates for the poor. Your neighbors and newsmakers are here on Daybreak.
6:12 here on a Thursday morning, and a good morning to you. I'm Jeff Slikey along with Carol Gardner. Cut you off there. Sorry about that. Mary Lynn Foster has the news coming up at 6:30, and we've got some great stories to talk about this morning. The Beards Cove community received an Environmental Achievement Award, and folks are going to be able to explore the new floating bridge this weekend, going to be opening up to traffic shortly. Also, a key witness has testified in the trial in the indicted state auditor. Spoiler alert, he was not testifying in favor of the state auditor. We'll find out what he had to say right after this break on Daybreak.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE Newsradio.
I'm Chris Jacobs with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. Sam Bradford just got a new deal, but could the Eagles find their future signal caller with the 8th overall draft pick? North Dakota State QB Carson Wentz worked out for Philly on Wednesday. The Eagles will work out Memphis quarterback Paxton Lynch on Thursday. And speaking of QBs, Colin Kaepernick still wants out of San Francisco, but the Niners aren't willing to part ways unless the price is right. As of right now, Cap is still a member of the 49ers, and if that's the case at 4 p.m. Eastern on Thursday, his nearly $12 million salary for 2016 becomes guaranteed. So who will the Niners take 7th overall? Who will go number 1? Make sure you watch the NFL Draft presented by Verizon on April 28th at 8 p.m. Eastern on NFL Network. You'll get instant reaction, analysis, and interviews with the draft picks. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Organic gardening is no longer expensive gardening. Not when you get $1 off every bag of Vigoro organic garden soil. Now just $3.88 at the Home Depot. Start your garden with a mixture of moisture-retaining soil and other natural ingredients that will feed plants for up to 3 months. The next wave of organic gardening is smarter than ever. Bring on spring with $1 off Vigoro organic garden soil. Now just $3.88. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing. Valid through April 6th, U.S. only.
Any Napa guy knows, and science proves, the best minivan is the one you've already got. Part kid transporter, part drywall mover. Who cares if the faux wood grain is a little faded? That was a platinum package option in 1987. With over 400,000 parts and a little Napa know-how, you can keep anything on the road. Because it's not old, it's vintage. That's Napa know-how.
iFIBER One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 presents Daybreak.
.6:15 on a Thursday morning, and a good morning to you. I'm Jeff Slakey along with Carol Gardner. Hello there. Another nice day, yeah?
Oh, another great day.
I was inside all day taking care of my son, Kaiser. Actually, we went outside twice for about 5 minutes each time, get fresh air.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but he had another ear infection. That's what's going on. So, hopefully he does better this morning. My goodness, it's crazy. All right, 6:15 here. Great show for you. Julian Salmons, our replay from earlier in the week. Julian Salmons will be on the air with us talking about a septic program that they've been working on. It's like a 2-year study, and they're working at it at the Salmon Center and then a house in Union, and they're looking at different ways rocks and wood chips are denitrifying.
Sounds good.
Can I help me with that at all?
No.
And so that's a great conversation we'll have. Also today at 7:45, we finish up our National Nutrition Month segment talking about pet nutrition. Fiddle Fest, so some great music on the radio today at 8:15 with Will and Laura Farr, and we've got tickets to give away for Fiddle Fest. And Steve Goins will be in at 8:45 for our Focus on Shelton, brought to you by our Community Credit Union.
Jeff Chu recently reported on the Hood Canal Coordinating Council, who honored the Beards Cove community with an Environmental Achievement Award for shoreline restoration. It was done in cooperation with the Great Peninsula Conservancy. More than 700 acres were conserved or restored in the Lynch Cove area, and the goal was to restore the shoreline back to its 1884 configuration. That was long before Phil was brought in for a park in 1973. And the project is the final link in an effort that has been going on for some 20 years. About 17 acres of high tidal marsh and riparian shoreline habitat were restored when 46,000 cubic yards of fill were removed. The Beards Cove area still has a park for recreation and dog walking, and new trail projects and native planting are being planned. And there's more on this award on our iFIBER1newsradio.com under our local tab.
A former employee of a Washington state auditor on trial for federal money laundering and other charges has begun giving what could be key testimony in the case. Jason Giroux worked for Troy Kelly's former real estate services firm. Prosecutors are accusing Kelly of pocketing about $3 million that he was supposed to refund to homeowners in that business a decade ago before he took office. Giroux has been granted immunity from prosecution in exchange for his testimony in the case, and yesterday he testified that a distressed Kelly called him one day, asking him how many checks he had and directing him to start writing refund checks to homeowners. Lawyers for Kelly, the first Washington official indicted in 35 years, say, though, he was entitled to keep the money.
So is this week 1 of the trial? Because remember you said, or we had read that it was going to last just 4 weeks.
4 weeks.
Yeah.
I feel like it was last week they started.
So this is our second week. So we'll keep an eye on it and see what actually.
Jury deliberation, I wonder?
Or is it when they lawyers first start talking? I don't know. I've actually never been to on jury trial. So do not know.
With jury duty? You've never been there or sat in a trial?
No.
I don't think I have either, actually.
No, but we'll keep an eye on the trial, and I'm sure we will have way more information than you probably want in the
next couple of weeks. You an REI fan? Great outdoors?
Oh, yeah.
Started in Washington.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, isn't the old CEO, I want to say Sally Ride, but then again, I think that could have been the lady that was on the Challenger.
Mm-hmm. That's what it sounds like to me.
She's one of the big head honchos now in Washington, D.C. For outdoors. Officials with REI says they've chosen Bellevue as their site for the new headquarters. The Outdoors Co-op, headquartered in Kent since 1988, been looking for a new campus. Signed a non-binding letter of intent to develop 8 acres in Bellevue, right between State Route 520 and the Bell Red Road. 1,200 employees or so. A couple of offices in Bellevue, one in Georgetown area as well. The co-op should know by the summer if the deal can move forward. Once the deal is finalized, the relocation could take place in the year 2020.
Walkers and bike riders are going to have a chance to explore the new State Route 520 floating bridge this weekend before the structure opens to vehicle traffic.
Walkers?
Walkers. Not The Walking Dead, if that's what you're thinking about.
Of course.
The new 6-lane bridge over Lake Washington replaces the 4-lane version that was built in 1963. A grand opening celebration starts Saturday with a 10K run, and both bridges will be closed over the weekend for the events. The new bridge includes a 14-foot wide path for bicyclists and pedestrians, and a transit HOV lane in each direction. Something else that bridge is going to be after a lot of struggle.
That's the bridge with the pontoons and all that stuff?
Yep. It's been a long time coming.
6:21, we'll be right back and have some more stories for you from the Northwest and beyond on Daybreak.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE Newsradio.
You know, this is a good time to subscribe to the Journal. Most importantly, you get a great local newspaper. We were voted the best mid-sized weekly newspaper in the state, which helps you stay connected to your community. And then there is the fact that subscription rates remain low while individual paper prices are increasing for 2016. You can save as much as $40 this year with your subscription. Quality, convenience, and low price. The Journal gives you all that every week. Call 426-4412 or go to masoncounty.com.
The new Money Monopoly game is at McDonald's. We're giving away 100 million food and cash prizes. That means 1 in 4 wins. Just peel for a chance to win instant prizes like $100 cash. Or collect pieces for your chance to win $1 million. 100 million prizes. 1 in 4 wins. You could be the one. Monopoly is a trademark of Hasbro. No purchase necessary. Open to residents of U.S. ends 4/25. Odds of winning in-restaurant game approximately 1 in 4. Mostly food prizes. $1 million prize awarded is $50,000 per year for 20 years without interest. See official rules at participating McDonald's or PlayMcD.com for more details. Void where prohibited.
Introducing McDonald's Signature Crafted Recipes. We're talking bold sandwiches featuring authentic ingredients.
What?
You know it, like the guacamole made with Haas avocados in the Pico guacamole recipe.
Wow.
Barbecue sauce made with Vidalia onions in the sweet barbecue bacon recipe.
Nice.
And bacon with maple seasoning in the maple bacon Dijon recipe.
Amazing.
Try them on chicken or beef.
I want to try them all.
It's a new way to enjoy McDonald's. Create your signature crafted sandwich today at participating McDonald's.
Get ready to rock out and sing your favorite songs karaoke style at Lucky Dog Casino. Every Saturday starting at 9 p.m., join us for free karaoke with a live band as your background music. Only at Lucky Dog Casino, located just south of Hoodsport. Get ready to rock out and sing your favorite songs karaoke style at Lucky Dog Casino. Every Saturday starting at 9 p.m., join us for free karaoke with a live band as your background music. Only at Lucky Dog Casino, located just south of Hoodsport.
iFIBER ONE Newsradio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 presents Daybreak.
iFIBER One News Radio. Good morning to you. Marilyn Foster's coming up in a couple of moments. And we are talking about the end of the session that happened yesterday. Also, we're talking some state legislative news that I just mentioned, the Lake Boulevard Pioneer Way work update. And the Habitat for Humanity groundbreaking is tomorrow. All that's coming up in 6 minutes on iFIBER One News Radio, Daybreak. Carol, did you hear this? It was in the ABC News. It's kind of been floating around the internet now, this Lakers Iggy Azalea story. You familiar with, first off, you know who Iggy Azalea is?
The pop star.
She is an Australian pop star who is very famous. She's going out with a guy, plays for the Lakers. Young. These are all young people. His teammate, D'Angelo Russell, big-time rookie, big-time baller. It is, in the Laker world these days, they're saying goodbye to Kobe. The team stinks. They've won 15 games or something like that. They're just touring around for the finals so everybody can see Kobe for one last time. So nothing really matters on the team. But this guy's the supposed future of the team. So he's secretly records his teammate talking about various conquests that he's had, perhaps while still involved with Iggy Azalea. And there's kind of, and it's terrible to talk about this, that it's a thing, but this is a thing for sports stars and people who travel often. Right. So that's kind of the basic background. There's more from ABC News. And so the story, the video gets out, supposedly taken months ago, but it gets out, leaked to the internet yesterday. And now everybody's watching it. And I mean everybody, including Iggy Azalea. Here's more from ABC News.
He's a jokester. He's a prankster. He's very bubbly in a kind of childish sort of way. And I get being kind of young, but I also think, there's people who can act that age, and then there's people who can act several years younger. And I think D'Angelo Russell falls on the earlier side of that.
So again, that was from ESPN's Mike and Mike this morning. But this kid's 19 years old. So he'd be a sophomore in college. So give it that a little sophomoric, of course. Here's more from ABC.
It's D'Angelo Russell facing the heat, both on and off the court. His charge, violating the Universal Guy Code. Outraged fans greeted Russell last night with a cavalcade of boos. His Lakers teammates have reportedly shunned the number 2 pick in last year's draft. After the game, D'Angelo apologized for taking the video, saying he cherished Young's friendship.
So what do you think about this story? Would you be, if you're in Iggy Azalea's position, happy that you got this information before you married this guy?
Yeah, I would be happy that I had that information. It's a horrible way to get it, definitely. And they didn't have a chance to talk about it.
No, it just leaked. It's now on the internet. It's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
The whole thing's ruined. What's D'Angelo Russell going to do now? He's 19. He's supposed to be the face of the Lakers. I wouldn't want him anywhere near me.
I bet it's going to blow over.
Think so?
As most of these things do.
Oh, my gosh.
Plus, doesn't he already have a contract?
Yeah.
He has to play.
He has to play.
People are going to just sort of forget about it like they do with most sports people. Look at the Deflategate. I mean, that's been forgotten about. I mean, this sort of adds into it because there's another dimension because of the whole.
This isn't the first time.
Thing.
This isn't the first time a Lakers player has outed another Lakers player for being extracurricular. Kobe himself, during that Eagle, Colorado, put the blame on Shaq for some of the stuff that he did, causing a huge rift then with the Lakers.
Right, but see
Full
how.
circle.
Yeah, and it's just sort of blown over. People just sort of. There'll be a new flavor of the month next month.
You get these kids are getting caught up in the LA lifestyle and the TMZ and all that stuff.
I would say that. Plus, just social media. This probably happens all the time, and we don't hear about it because people aren't famous that are recording and then accidentally leaking it to the internet.
A lot of that stuff happens all the time in high school. Every day, there's probably a story like that.
Yeah,
in high school.
I know, but. Back when I was in high school, we didn't even have cameras.
You didn't even have cameras.
I am so glad during my youth that people were not easily able to record or video me.
Even up till, I'm still thinking back to like 2005.
Right.
And even up to then, no Facebook and video and cell
Yeah.
phones taking cameras.
Yeah.
Now it's everywhere.
Yeah.
629, iFIBER ONE Newsradio. The governor signed 2 education bills in Seattle yesterday, both aimed at helping disadvantaged kids get better educations. He signed a measure that will help improve education for foster youth and a bill aimed at closing the educational opportunity gap. The measure calls for an end to long-term and open-ended suspensions and expulsions. It also improves bilingual instruction and asks for more cultural competency training for educators. Washington State has one of the largest achievement or opportunity gaps in the nation. 6:30 now. Mary Lynn Foster's news comes up. ABC Sports as well. We'll take some time to talk with Julian Salmons from the Salmon Center about a septic system program they're working on. And have some more news for you, including an initiative, a carbon tax initiative. The PUD3 is making comments on that.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE News Radio.
Local news is brought to you by Shelton Health and Rehabilitation Center. Find them online at sheltonhealthandrehab.com.
From the iFIBER ONE News Radio studios, I'm Mary Lynn Foster. We have an update on the Lake Boulevard Pioneer Way Improvement Project. Starting today through April 11th, the contractor will be installing and curing concrete curb and gutters on Lake Boulevard between University and the city limits. Starting Tuesday, April 5th at 7 a.m., the contractor will be installing concrete curb and gutters on Lake Boulevard between University and the city limits on the even-numbered addresses side of the street. Residents living on the even side of the street will not be able to park curbside or have access to and from their driveways, but can park across the street that day and night. Starting April 6th at 7 a.m., the contractor will be installing concrete curb and gutters on Lake Boulevard between University and the city limits on the odd number addresses side of the street. Residents living on both sides of the street can only park on the even side of the street that day and night. And residents on both sides of the street will still not have access to and from their driveways until Monday evening, April 11th, to allow sufficient time for the concrete to cure. But curbside parking will be allowed. This week, not only did the Washington State Legislature pass a supplemental budget, they also overrode Governor Jay Inslee's 27 vetoes. 35th District Representative Drew McEwen talked with Daybreak about that.
We did, in conjunction with the Senate, override 27 vetoes by the governor, and to put that in context, the last time a bill was overridden by the legislature was in 1998. It was one bill. So there were 27 veto overrides that were done, and those bills are now officially law without the governor's support. So that was a fairly significant item last night as well.
Inslee vetoed the 27 bills on March 10th when the state legislature hadn't passed a supplemental budget during regular session. The 27 overrides came immediately after the Republican Senate agreed on a budget with the Democratic House. You can hear the full interview with Representative McEwen on the Daybreak page at iFIBER1newsradio.com. Habitat for Humanity of Mason County plans to build its 25th house in Shelton, and a groundbreaking ceremony is scheduled for tomorrow. Executive Director Marty Crow told Daybreak more about it.
Also, we're enjoying our 20th anniversary on that same day of the affiliate. In 20 years, we've built 25 homes. This last year, we spent a great deal of time supporting about 40 families in home preservation activities, helping them maintain and restore and stay in their homes. So there's a couple of efforts going on, a combination of new home construction and also preserving existing homes. So we've had a lot of fun, a lot of work's been done over the last few months.
The ceremony begins at 10 tomorrow morning on the building site at 2137 Washington Street, and the public is invited to attend. For iFIBER ONE News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3, I'm Mary Lynn Foster.
I'm attorney Harold Carr. During the past 25 years, more than 8,000 people have trusted me to handle their personal injury cases. I understand how an injury can disrupt your life and cause financial hardship for you and your family. At the law firm of Harold Carr, we have 5 attorneys and 19 staff members experienced with negotiating and litigating with insurance companies. So if you feel the insurance company is not dealing with you fairly, call me, Harold Carr. Let us deal with the insurance company so you won't have to.
Car accident? Call Carr or visit us online at haroldcarrattorney.com.
Hi, everybody. Dave Packer reporting on sports. A videotape by guard D'Angelo Russell showed teammate Nick Young talking about cheating on his fiancée. The film ended up on the web, and ESPN has reported there's tension in the locker room with players angry at Russell. The 2015 first-round pick denied releasing the footage, but apologized to his teammate.
I've reached out to him, talked a little bit, but I let him know my apologies. I don't know if they were accepted, but I wouldn't blame him.
On the court, the Lakers beat Miami last night in OT. The Warriors get a come-from-behind overtime victory in Utah. The team's now 5 wins away from the best regular season in NBA history, but not everyone's impressed. Head coach Steve Kerr heckled after the win.
That's why we have this record. Our guys compete every night.
A lot of minutes on your troops.
Sorry, somebody's telling me how much I suck right now. Sorry. Go ahead.
This is ABC Sports. The San Antonio Spurs making history of their own. They're 38-0 at home this season, and that's an NBA record.
Rebound, Perkins, but it's taken away from him by Mills, who dribbles with left corner for 3. Good day, Mike! Patty Mills with a steal, dribble to the corner and drain the 3.
WOAI, Spurs beat New Orleans 100-92. Toronto sets a franchise record with a win over Atlanta. The Raptors at the 50-win mark, the first time they've done it.
We'll go down and, in the record books, that's big. You can never take that away. And, we have the opportunity to continue to build on it.
That's guard DeMar DeRozan. Other scores, Denver clips Memphis 109-105. Clippers blow out the Timberwolves by 20. Milwaukee beats Phoenix 105-94. Dallas sinks the Knicks 91-89. And Sacramento trumps the Wizards 120-111. Tough year for the NHL sides north of the border. No Canadian team will make the playoffs. That hasn't happened since 1970. Dave Packer, ABC Sports.
If you could wave a wand and change one thing about your house, what would it be?
Hold that thought, but forget the wand. Home improvement isn't magic.
If you're a do-it-yourselfer, we can show you the tricks of the trade for remodeling and repair.
And how to not get fooled when you're choosing and directing a contractor. Hi, I'm Tom Kreitler.
And I'm Leslie Segretti. Phone in your fix-up questions here this weekend.
On the Money Pit Home Improvement Radio Show.
Saturdays at 10, Sundays at 7 on iFIBER ONE Newsradio.
Now, from the all-new Gillis Auto Center Sports Desk, here's Jeff Slakey.
Now, thank you. Good morning. 6:36 a.m. 10:30 and FM 103.3. Shelton softball exploded for 10 runs in the second inning on their way to a 16-6 victory over the Cougs of Capital. Big win for the Climbers, who now move to 3-0 on the young season. Be sure to check out the website later today as Sports Director Sean Wells will have full video highlights from the big win, including interviews with players and coaches. Seattle's ace Felix Hernandez pitched 3 innings of the Mariners' 7-5 loss to the Padres yesterday in his final start before opening day. 4 runs, all in the first for Hernandez. Mariners have filled out their 40-man roster. Man, they are looking good for opening day, Monday. Man, I better get a good weather forecast on Monday, Carol, because I know it's an afternoon game. We're starting our pregame at noon, which means first pitch is at 1, which means it's going to be an awesome afternoon. I don't like the way you're shaking your head there.
I have a great day for today.
Well,
Come on, live in the moment.
Let's focus
on today. It's going to be another beautiful sunny day, high in the upper 60s, low 70s, the warmest day of the year so far. Tomorrow, most likely warmer, and it's going to be sunshiny for a few more days. I'm not going to say what's going to happen on Monday.
Come on.
Forecasts always change.
They don't change
I
that
would
much.
say enjoy what you have right now. Definitely enjoy what you have right now. Right now, it's in the low 40s to high. It's in the high 30s to low 40s in the South Sound region.
Now, from the iFIBER ONE Newsradio studios, it's Daybreak. Providing local news, sports, weather, and interviews to the South Sound's most important people. You, from business leaders to politicians, from activists for change to advocates for the poor. Your neighbors and newsmakers are here on Daybreak.
$6:39 at iFIBER ONE. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to focus on an extended forecast when they're nice. And not when they're not nice.
Well, I could tell you to move to beautiful, sunny, southern U.S. And then you could have nice weather all the time.
I don't think I could, as much as it'd be nice to live in a sunny all the time area, I appreciate the gray.
Well, you know what I appreciated when I lived down in Nevada, which is sunny pretty much all the time?
Yeah.
I was like, I remember standing up in one of the first employee meetings when I worked down there, and they're like, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm Carol from the Northwest, and I really miss the rain. And everybody freaked out.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm like, that pitter patter you hear on the roof, you can't hear it anymore. So it was, yeah, you do. You miss the rain. You miss the green.
Yeah, but in Vegas, you hear the...
I didn't live above a casino.
Winning. 6:40 here on a Thursday morning. Good morning to you. Julian Salmon's on the air with us in a few moments here to talk about on-site septic programs that the Salmon Center has been working on. They do a lot of great work up there at the Pacific Northwest Salmon Center, just on the side of the road there at Highway 3 up near Belfair. Definitely an opportunity to walk around the Feller Wetlands today, for sure. That would be beautiful. We're going to talk Fiddle Fest today as well at 8:15. 7:45 this morning. Terry comes in from Adopt a Pet, Terry Thomas, and we're talking pet nutrition as March wraps up today. It's actually the last day of March. We're going to have the wrap up for National Nutrition Month at 7:45, and Steve Goins will be here to focus on Shelton at 8:45. Tomorrow, a great program for the 1st of April. Bud Blake, Thurston County Commissioner, and also Brad Miller from Graduation Matters Shelton will be here. He's the board president and kind of update us on things that are happening with Graduation Matters Shelton. Carol and Dale will be with you for a Friday that starts tomorrow. No fooling. You guys got anything planned for the big April Fools?
Yeah, neither of us are going to show up.
And then it's going to be fool to you, Jeff. You better get this thing figured out. Sean Wells comes in at 8:15 as well today, as we talk with him about some things that are happening in sports, and be sure to check out the videos that he's been working on as well. Take a quick break and jump into the conversation we had with Julian Salmons on our Environmentally Sound here on Daybreak.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE Newsradio.
Mason County Garbage and Recycling on Johns Prairie here in Shelton is pleased to offer safe and efficient removal services. Mason County Garbage and Recycling is always mindful of environmental standards and is continuously striving for the highest excellence. Mason County Garbage and Recycling, upholding your trust within the community. Questions? Call 426-8729. In Belfair, 275-4590.
It's time again for Fiddle Fest, state and national champs with a variety of old-time, Celtic, and bluegrass fiddling. 2 big shows Saturday, April 2nd at 1 and again at 6 at the Performing Arts Center at Shelton High School. Tickets are $10 at the door, $5 for students. Proceeds go to the Shelton Music Program and Youth Music Scholarships. For more information, go to sheltonfiddlefest.org. Brought to you by the Washington Old Time Fiddlers Association.
Do you dance badly or hug in public? That's okay. You don't have to be perfect to be the perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care would love to put up with you. Call 1-888-200-4005 or visit adoptuskids.org for more information. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt Us Kids, and the Ad Council.
Need a ride? Call 426-8294. Mason County Taxi, 426-8294. Anytime, anywhere. Call when you need a quick, affordable ride. 426-TAXI, 426-8294. Environmentally Sound is brought to you by Taylor's Shellfish Farms, Mason County Garbage, and Green Diamond Resource Company.
The Salmon Center. Julian Salmons. Morning, sir.
How you doing?
Good. It's been a little while, I feel, since we've seen you.
It has.
Things going well?
Things are going good. Yeah.
Good.
Can't complain.
Weather's getting better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice for you guys out there. I see there's a lot of stuff going on the calendar at pnwsalmoncenter.org. But today, we're here to talk about the on-site septic research project.
Correct.
So remind us and let new listeners know what the project is all about.
So this is more or less a pilot study to evaluate the performance of an advanced on-site septic system treatment technology that was developed by the State Department of Health and the University of Washington. So they did kind of a preliminary study in a more controlled environment. They tested 3 different setups, all with slightly different characteristics, at a wastewater treatment plant in Snoqualmie, and they had very consistent, controlled stuff going into the septic systems just to see if they would work at all. And they picked the best one. All 3 worked well. Some of them had their issues, and they picked the best one. And so we've implemented 2 of those, and we're doing a 2-year study, monitoring monthly, to look at how those are removing nitrogen and a couple other parameters that we're keeping our eyes on.
So is this a structural, the system is a structural pilot project, or you're using certain chemicals or
it's a retrofit to an existing septic system. Basically, there are these 2 components, 2 filters. One is called a recirculating gravel filter, and one is called a vegetated denitrifying wood chip bed, which is fancy way of saying a wood chip filter.
Mm-hmm.
Those 2 units go between your septic tank and the drain field, and that, depending on if you have your layout of your yard and where you can put these things, you might be able to do that without a pump, or you might need a pump. Both of our systems need some pumping to move the effluent around to get through these filters. But the recirculating gravel filter is just a big box full of gravel, basically, and it pumps the effluent through that, and that does a process known as nitrification, and then denitrification is the process that happens in the wood chip bed, and that results in the nitrogen going out as nitrogen gas, basically, when it's performing well. I mean, there's always going to be some going out, but we've had varied results depending on how, lots of variables, and that's the point of the study, is to figure out what kind of controls how well the nitrification and denitrification is working in these 2 components.
Okay, so because usually you have your septic box and then it goes out to your rocks or whatever, which is your
drain field. Yeah.
So that's in between those.
Yeah.
So you're hoping to get rid of some of the stuff before it hits it goes into the water system or the groundwater system.
Exactly. Nitrogen is the primary concern. Because, we all know about the dissolved oxygen issue in the lower hood canal, and nitrogen contributes to the condition known as eutrophication, which is the extra nutrients of nitrogen or phosphorus in the water, and then algae blooms and they die off and they consume the oxygen. So it's all connected to water quality in the hood canal. But this technology would be applied more broadly than just the hood canal if it proves to be very favorable results.
If I remember, this is being put on, people signed up for this, or get this in the systems, or where are these systems?
So we have one at the Salmon Center, and then we only have one other one, which is at a private owner in Union. And they have their different characteristics. The Salmon Center is a business, so you have usage, basically business hours, and pretty consistent. People aren't doing laundry, taking showers like that. And then you have the private landowner who has a little bit different regime of flows, basically. And so that's interesting to compare those. Yeah.
So how long is the project going to last? And
so
we get our results.
Yeah, we started sampling in September of 2014, and we're going through August. So basically 2 full years, 24 months of sampling, and then I'll be hiding away, working on a report for a while and getting that out, and that should be a pretty interesting document, kind of outlining all the little idiosyncrasies that went into adjusting the system, the notes I take in the field, and how it seems like these systems are performing and what's affecting that.
And this is the only project in Washington that's happening right now?
With these systems, yes. Yeah. The ones that were done before that were dismantled. We actually have some of the equipment from those systems in ours.
So is the one at the Salmon Center the rocks one, and the one in Union the wood chip one, or both parts?
They both have both.
Okay.
Yeah, they're both pretty vital components to the process of removing nitrogen.
And those are two ways of 3 ways that you found to do this, or?
They're both the same one best performing of the 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they found that the wood recirculating gravel filter plus vegetated denitrifying wood chip bed was the best setup. So we've implemented 2 of that setup, and that's.
And have you guys factored into any costs of, suppose it turns out to be great, and then homeowners could implement this system? I mean, you'll have to dig up the ground and, or is this for everybody that has a septic system, or only for new houses going forward? Or
that's kind of open-ended. That's not necessarily in the scope of our report to say where it would be implemented. I think local jurisdictions would have to read the report and make the decision on their own, but it's basically, its purpose is to advise local jurisdictions so that they can make the decision if it's something that they would want to incentivize or recommend, and if installers want to start getting familiar with installing these, because the idea is that hopefully prices would go down because there's competition amongst installers to install these. But we're definitely trying to take everything into consideration to some extent in the final report. So we want to answer questions that local jurisdictions would have in that final report.
So we're coming up on the 2 years, and are you seeing, you got results yet? Do you see that it's pretty interesting that you can do a house test and a business test, and what are some of the results that you're getting?
Well, we're still working on dialing it in. There's with these systems, there's a lot of, like I said, dialing it in. Basically, you have to get the systems set up for the flows that are going through it. And with this winter, we've had heavy rain, and these are open systems, so rain is going in through the filters, and that's changing things a little bit.
Sure.
One of the landowners is having people moving out of the house, so the flow is changing there, and so you have to basically set the recirculating gravel filter. That's the one that really needs the timing, because the recirculating gravel filter means it goes through ideally 3 to 7 times. You have 10 gallons going in, you want 30 to 7 gallons recirculating through that gravel filter to give it a chance to go through that process. And so when we have disruptions like that, we actually don't see the results of those disruptions until I do my monthly sampling, and then I take it to the lab, and then the lab gives me the results, and that lag time can be up to 2 or more months. 2-3 months is the longest we've had. So that is that's just the reality of doing this kind of monitoring. You have this big lag time between when you make changes and when you actually see the results of those changes, and so you're basically working kind of backwards. So I'm actually sampling today, and I'll be getting the results from February very soon, and then I'll be able to see what's happened in the past month or so and how I can make the changes to accommodate that.
So the changes would be adding more rocks, taking away rocks, adding pulp, or?
We don't change any of the substrate or media in either of the filters. Those stay there. We change the timing of the pumps. That's really the only thing that we change, is how much is being pumped every cycle and how often cycles are occurring. And that is the biggest factor that we can control.
Yeah.
Temperature is a big thing. Obviously, we can't control that. There was everyone who is familiar with these systems has expected that low temperatures would slow down the process, particularly in the wood chip bed. And we've observed that, but we're still seeing decent results. Yeah.
Wow. This is quite the study here. 2 years in the making. Coming up this September is the 2nd year.
Yeah.
And eventually a big report will be out on this, and potentially years down the road, you could see this as being part of a septic system.
Potentially, absolutely.
All from you guys. That's great at the Salmon Center.
Yeah.
pnwsalmoncenter.org is the website. They got a lot of upcoming events, some work parties, some art classes as well. So check out pnwsalmoncenter.org. We're talking with Julian Salmons from the Salmon Center this morning. It's good to see you.
Good to see you
Thanks
guys.
for coming in.
Thank you very much.
iFIBER One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 presents Daybreak.
6:53 at iFIBER One News Radio. Daybreak, good morning to you. I'm Just Like You, along with Carol Gardner. And Carol, we got the ABC News coming up in a few moments, a CNBC Business Radio report as well. Marilyn Foster updates us on the Lake Boulevard Pioneer Way project. Yesterday, we heard from Drew McEwen on the end of the state legislative session. So he's in the news today, 35th District Rep. And tomorrow at 10 is the groundbreaking for this 25th Habitat for Humanity home of Mason County. And they're doing it right in the heart of Shelton, taking advantage of those fee reductions that the City Commission put forth and got underway. We talked with Marty Crow this week. He was on the air with us, and so you can watch that interview, and Marilyn Foster has some more news about that as well.
And on our website, our reporter Jeff Chu posted that the Hood Canal Coordinating Council recently honored the Beards Cove community with an Environmental Achievement Award for a shoreline restoration project, and it was done in cooperation with the Great Peninsula Conservancy. More than 700 acres were conserved or restored in the Lynch Cove area. The goal was to restore the shoreline back to its 1884 configuration, long before Phil was brought in for a park in 1973.
Who? Sorry.
The project is a final link in an effort that has been going on for some 20 years. About 17 acres of high tidal marsh and riparian shoreline habitat were restored when 46,000 cubic yards of fill were removed. The Beards Cove area still has a park for recreation and dog walking, and new trail projects and native planting are being planned. And you can find more about the award and the full story on iFiber1newsradio.com.
Nice day to go walk around there.
Mm-hmm.
An initiative that would create a carbon tax in Washington state now headed to the November ballot. Lawmakers adjourned the special legislative session late Tuesday without taking action on Initiative 732. It'll now go to a statewide ballot measure for voters. I-732 would impose a carbon tax of $25 per metric ton of emissions from fossil fuels such as gasoline, coal, and natural gas. Meanwhile, it would lower the state's sales tax by 1 point, virtually eliminating business taxes for manufacturers and providing rebates for working families. The elected Board of Commissioners for Mason PUD 3 announced yesterday their opposition to Initiative 732. The intent of the initiative is admirable, says Linda Gott, Commission President. Mason PUD 3's electricity is already 97% carbon-free. Based on studies from Washington PUD Association, the tax on the 3% of our electricity that comes from natural gas and coal could increase costs to our customers between $500,000 and nearly $2 million in the first year alone. So again, that initiative, 732, will be on the ballot this November. And I'm sure that we'll hear this isn't the last that we'll hear about this initiative.
Nope, the yay or nayers we will hear about.
Just about 7 o'clock here on iFIBER One News Radio. CNBC Business Radio report coming up in just a couple of moments, and Marilyn Foster after that as well. Mariners baseball continues on. They lost yesterday, but Felix got in there his last warm-ups for regular season, and we're getting ready to start the regular season here Monday the 4th against the Texas Rangers. Monday the 11th starts our first Mariners Monday Trivia Contest. Sean Wells will be providing sports reports for us. And in those sports reports, a clue to the Mariners trivia question. We'll tell you when and how to get in on the winning. That first contest again coming up on April 11th.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER One News Radio.
Our CNBC Business Radio stocks are trying to end the final day of the first quarter in positive territory. The Dow's up 28 points, the Nasdaq higher by 6. A higher than expected number of Americans applied for first-time unemployment benefits last week. The Labor Department says applications were up by 11,000 to 276,000, but that's still at a level associated with a strong job market. BlackRock is reportedly cutting about 4 400 jobs in what would be its largest round of layoffs. That would represent roughly 3% of the asset manager's global workforce. Meantime, Boeing said yesterday it's planning to cut 4,000 jobs from its commercial airplane business by mid-year. Now there are reports the company plans to cut up to 8,000 jobs from that unit by the end of the year. That could slash about $1 billion in annual costs. Chris Maurer, CNBC.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, U.S. Tax Shield can help you take back control. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Our team of tax attorneys can stop collections and get you protected. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the BBB, so call 800-466-9625. U.S. Tax Shield, 800-466-9625.
A Napa guy knows the good thing about an old truck is you can treat it like an old truck, meaning however you want, because the paint job looks best covered in mud. Dents build character, and unpaved roads are unscientifically proven to be 70% more fun. And with over 400,000 parts and a little Napa know-how, you can keep that thing running longer, stronger, because it's not old, it's broken in. That's Napa know-how.
Dave Ramsey helps you handle your money. Weekdays from noon to 3 on iFIBER ONE Newsradio, AM 1030, FM 103.3, KMAS Shelton.
Here's the latest from ABC News. I'm Karen Chase. Donald Trump took it back just hours after saying it, but opponents say his comments that if abortion were illegal, women should be punished for getting them are telling, horrific, and beyond comprehension. Trump later said abortion providers, not women, should be punished, but ABC's Cecilia Vegas tells us other candidates aren't backing down.
Hillary Clinton is already turning these comments into a fundraising tactic, sending an email to supporters saying, quote, Donald Trump wants to punish women for making our own health care decisions, even though he reversed his position. His opponents are not backing away from this. The big question is, will this hurt him? He is already seeing his popularity with women slip.
Air travel could be tricky today if workers at 9 major airports nationwide follow through on threats to strike. ABC's Ryan Burrow is at Chicago's O'Hare International.
The striking workers include non-union baggage handlers, aircraft cabin cleaners, wheelchair assistants, custodians, and non-TSA security personnel. They're calling for higher wages, some saying they make below minimum wage and aren't allowed to accept tips. And they want better security training. They've been picketing since Wednesday evening. Officials here at O'Hare say the demonstration should not disrupt operations during the heavy spring break travel period.
Backers call it a historic step toward economic justice. California lawmakers are expected to enact a measure today that'll raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour by 2022. Soda makers are quietly putting sugar back into soda to get consumers to come back to it in the face of falling sales. Soda sales have been depressed by a growing aversion to chemical additives and a trend toward natural foods. Carrie Lloyd and Hope Solo are some of the big names in U.S. women's soccer, filing a federal complaint with the EEOC over wage discrimination. Chipotle Mexican Grill is getting into the burger business. It's filed a trademark application for the name Better Burger. The daughter of late Toronto Mayor Rob Ford was among those mourning his death at his funeral today, saying he's in a better place now that he's the mayor of heaven. This is ABC News.
Prices are for base buildings only and may not be available in some areas. This is an alert. If your business or church is building this year, you're about to pay more than you should. This could mean thousands of dollars more for your office, retail space, church, or warehouse. So call General Steel now for the quality and the price in a pre-engineered steel building that you just can't beat. That's right, General Steel can save you thousands of dollars with a pre-engineered steel building designed for your business or church. How much can you save? How about a 50 by 100 foot building for under $35,000? So don't pay thousands more than you should without calling General Steel first. Call 888-98-STEEL today and save as much as half the cost and time of conventional construction. Don't let rising steel prices put your project in jeopardy. Call now to lock in your price for 3 months. Call 888-98-STEEL. That's 888-98-STEEL. Call today and save thousands. 888-98-STEEL. That's 888-987-8335.
Have you ever gotten a check from a charity asking you for money? It's a more common technique than you may think, but before you respond, you should check out the charity's reputation online. ABC's Scott Goldberg explains how.
The Vietnam Veterans Memorial Fund is a legitimate charity. It preserves the wall etched with names in Washington. As a fundraising technique, this group sometimes sends small checks to people, asking them to send back bigger gifts. In cases like this, experts say you should visit a website like Charity Navigator. It'll tell you how much money charities spend on actual work versus how much they spend on fundraising efforts. It might inform your decision. You also might want to check with your state's Secretary of State to make sure the charity asking for your money is registered with that office. Scott Goldberg, ABC News.
One of the newest viral videos features a woman in Ireland wearing a virtual reality headset watching a 3D version of Jurassic Park. She bobs and weaves, obviously to avoid being stampeded by dinosaurs, in hilarious fashion. Karen Chase, ABC News.
Local news is brought to you by Fred Holmes Tree Service. FredHolmesTreeService.com, 427-4489.
From the iFIBER ONE Newsradio studios, I'm Marilyn Foster. We have an update on the Lake Boulevard Pioneer Way Improvement Project. Starting today through April 11th, the contractor will be installing and curing concrete curb and gutters on Lake Boulevard between University and the city limits. Starting Tuesday, April 5th at 7 a.m., the contractor will be installing concrete curb and gutters on Lake Boulevard between University and the city limits on the even-numbered addresses side of the street. Residents living on the even side of the street will not be able to park curbside or have access to and from their driveways, but can park across the street that day and night. Starting April 6th at 7 a.m., the contractor will be installing concrete curb and gutters on Lake Boulevard between University and the city limits on the odd number addresses side of the street. Residents living on both sides of the street can only park on the even side of the street that day and night. And residents on both sides of the street will still not have access to and from their driveways until Monday evening, April 11th, to allow sufficient time for the concrete to cure. But curbside parking will be allowed. This week, not only did the Washington State Legislature pass a supplemental budget, they also overrode Governor Jay Inslee's 27 vetoes. 35th District Representative Drew McEwen talked with Daybreak about that.
We did, in conjunction with the Senate, override 27 vetoes by the governor, and put that in context. The last time a bill was overridden by the legislature was in 1998. It was one bill. So there were 27 veto overrides that were done, and those bills are now officially law without the governor's support. So that was a fairly significant item last night as well.
Inslee vetoed the 27 bills on March 10th, when the state legislature hadn't passed a supplemental budget during regular session. The 27 overrides came immediately after the Republican Senate agreed on a budget with the Democratic House. You can hear the full interview with Representative McEwen on the Daybreak page at iFIBER1newsradio.com. Habitat for Humanity of Mason County plans to build its 25th house in Shelton, and a groundbreaking ceremony is scheduled for tomorrow. Executive Director Marty Crow told Daybreak more about it.
Also are enjoying our 20th anniversary on that same day of the affiliate. In 20 years, we've built 25 homes. This last year, we spent a great deal of time supporting about 40 families in home preservation activities, helping them maintain and restore and stay in their homes. So there's a couple of efforts going on, a combination of new home construction and also preserving existing homes. So we've had a lot of fun, a lot of work's been done over the last few months.
The ceremony begins at 10 tomorrow morning on the building site at 2137 Washington Street, and the public is invited to attend. For iFIBER ONE News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3, I'm Mary Lynn Foster.
Well, the Mariners have been down in the desert for a few weeks now.
Goodbye baseball, onto the berm, Robbie Cadeau.
The vets are sounding good, and the rookies are looking to make the cut. Before too long, it will be opening day. And iFIBER ONE News Radio is your home for Seattle Mariners baseball all season long. You can listen on AM 1030 or FM 103.3. The South Sound home for Mariners baseball this season is iFIBER ONE News Radio, AM 1030 or FM 103.3.
Wonder what the outrageously energizing experience of Mountain Dew Kickstart is like? Well, it's like a combo of 3 awesome things: dew, juice, and caffeine, rebooting your entire personal operating system.
Mountain
Dew Kickstart is in position for consumption.
Release the Mountain Dew Kickstart.
Mountain Dew Kickstart released. Experiencing a charge of Mountain Dew Kickstart now.
Mountain Dew Kickstart operation successful.
Roger that.
Get charged up with Mountain Dew Kickstart. Now in 4 energizing new flavors like Midnight Grape. It all starts with a kick.
Now, from the all-new Gillis Auto Center Sports Desk, here's Jeff Slakey.
Thanks. Good morning to you. It's 7:08 AM 1030 and FM 103.3. I'm Jeff Slakey, and Shelton softball exploded for 10 runs in the second inning on their way to a 16-6 victory over Capital. Big win for the High Climbers, who now move to 3-0 in the young season. Be sure to check out the website later today. Sports Director Sean Wells will have full video highlights from the big win, including interviews with the players and the coaches. Seattle ace Felix Hernandez pitched 3 innings in the Mariners' 7-5 loss to the Padres yesterday before his final start before opening day. 4 runs, all in the first, 4 hits as well. Struck out 1, walked 1. Mariners have made enough moves to fill out their 40-man roster. We've got games today through the weekend, and opening day is Monday against the Texas Rangers. Pregame at noon right here on AM 1030 and FM 103.3. Bellarmine Prep guard Malachi Flynn and Linwood star Michaela Pivek have been voted the 2016 AP Washington State Basketball Players of the Year for all classifications. Congratulations to them. Sean Wells will be on the air with us in the 8 o'clock hour. And today he's going to cover the Shelton soccer game versus Wilson. Also looking at the sports schedule for today, Tumwater Valley Golf Course going to be the location for the Shelton boys and girls taking on Olympia. Girls tennis heads out to Timberline, and tomorrow track, it's the red and black intra-squad match up there at Shelton High School at 3:30. 7:10 now at iFIBER ONE News Radio, and taking a look at the South Sound's forecast, here's Carol.
Good morning. Another sunny day, highs in the upper 60s and low 70s. Tomorrow, most likely warmer, and the sunshine looks like it's going to continue for a few more days. Right now, it's in the high 30s to low 40s around the South Sound region.
Now, from the iFIBER ONE News Radio studios, it's Daybreak. Providing local news, sports, weather, and interviews to the South Sound's most important people. You. From business leaders to politicians, from activists for change to advocates for the poor, your neighbors and newsmakers are here on Daybreak.
Good morning. I'm Carol Gardner along with Jeff Slakey, and we have a great show for you today. We're streaming audio and video this morning on iFiber1newsradio.com. You can find us on Twitter at iFIBER ONE Radio. And you can find us on Facebook. Just search for us, 1030 KMAS. And today on the show, we're going to be having our wrap-up of the National Nutrition Month. We'll have Terry Thomas in from the Adopt a Pet, and we'll talk about nutrition for your pets. And also, we're going to have Fiddlefest, Will and Laura Farr, and they're going to be in the 8 o'clock hour as well, and we'll hear some great music. We heard it last week, and it's just a wonderful sound. And we do have some tickets to give away. We will take calls in later today when those guys are on the air or right after.
Yeah.
And also some news around the region. The Beards Cove community received an Environmental Achievement Award. Public can explore the new 520 bridge before it opens to traffic. It sounds like sort of fun to go up there and do that.
If I remember, didn't somebody go on a high-speed chase?
There was one public person that actually got across the bridge before anybody else. But I think he was arrested.
Didn't the guy stop halfway, get out and run?
Yeah,
to the other end?
Maybe there was cement blocks in the way or something, or he thought he could run across and dive off the edge. I don't know what was going on with him.
It was always crazy to see those videos of the bridge. And on one side of the water, it's so super calm. And on the other side, it's just, windy.
Windy, wavy, Whitehead.
I think that's exactly what it is. 7:12 here at iFIBER ONE News Radio.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE News Radio.
If you care about what's going on around here, subscribe to the Shelton Mason County Journal. You will learn something useful about your neighborhood, upcoming events, your community, and coworkers. Laugh at the comics, cry with the obituaries, learn about local concerts, games, and new businesses. Being informed is worth it in so many ways. Subscribe today. Call 360-426-4412 or visit masoncounty.com. Check out the Journal's garage sales too. Try it. You'll love it.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is John Greenhut, the CEO of Power Swabs. And if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Paraswabs risk-free, call 1-800-928-7113. That's 1-800-928-7113. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends, family, and coworkers talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-928-7113. That's 1-800-928-7113.
iFIBER One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 presents Daybreak.
7:15 on a Thursday morning, the last day of the month of March. 3 months in, 2016 already. Good morning. I'm Jeff Slakey along with Carol Gardner. And how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Pretty good today. The news with Mary Lynn Foster is coming up in 15 minutes. She has an update for you on the Lake Boulevard Pioneer Way update. Also some more news on the legislative session that just ended the other day. And tomorrow at 10 is the groundbreaking for the 25th home for Habitat for Humanity of Mason County. It's going to be in Shelton and the corner of I and Washington. We talked with Marty Crow, the executive director, earlier in the week about that. And you can watch that video on the Daybreak page at iFIBER1Newsradio.com. Speaking of the website, Carol, Jeff Chu posted yesterday that the Hood Canal Coordinating Council recently honored the Beards Cove community with an Environmental Achievement Award for a shoreline restoration project. More than 700 acres conserved or restored in the Lynch Cove area. The goal to restore the shoreline back to the 1884 configuration. How do you think they know what that is?
They probably had maps, I'm imagining.
They didn't have any airplanes back then, right? They can look above and do an
Well, how do you think they did maps in the old days? They just walked it out.
Spaceship, and they looked down. And long before the fill was brought in for a park back in 1973. The project is in the final link in an effort that has been going on for about 20 years. About 17 acres of high tidal marsh and riparian shoreline habitat restored. 46,000 cubic yards of fill were removed. Beards Cove area still has a park for recreation and dog walking. You can find out more on the award at iFIBER1Newsradio.com.
A former employee of the Washington State Auditor on trial for federal money laundering and other charges has begun giving what could be a key testimony in the case. Jason Giroux worked for Troy, Kelly's former real estate services firm, and prosecutors are accusing Kelly of pocketing $3 million he was supposed to refund to homeowners in that business a decade ago and before he took office. And Giroux has been granted immunity from prosecution in exchange for his testimony in the case. Yesterday, Giroux testified that a distressed Kelly called him one day, out of the blue, asking him how many checks he had and directing Giroux to start writing refund checks to his homeowners. Immediately, lawyers for Kelly, the first Washington official indicted in 35 years, says he was entitled to keep the money. So Giroux gets a call out of the blue. Of course, nothing's been recorded or documented, I guess. It's just his word.
Yeah.
Start sending those checks back. I mean, did that just happen? Did he just call him like within the last year?
Well, there is no timeline on this.
I know. It's just, interesting. But he's like, I'll say something if I don't, if I'm not charged. That's the deal he made with the
That's a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
Especially who's writing those checks. 7:17 here at iFIBER ONE News Radio. Zika virus still in the news. ABC has a report on it coming up in a little bit here on iFIBER ONE News Radio. As of yesterday on the cdc.gov/Zika website, U.S. states travel-associated Zika virus disease cases, 312 of those, 27 pregnant women, 6 sexually transmitted, and 1 had the Guillain-Barré syndrome. That's the small head syndrome that we're seeing on some of the cases. ABC News has a report on ultrasounds and Zika. We'll have for you in a moment here on iFIBER1newsradio.com. Carol's got some other pretty interesting information.
Well, yeah, just sort of some headlines. The leading mosquito researchers in the U.S. are aiming to chart a DNA map that they say might help them fight the disease with the mosquito's own genetic code. So sort of use it against them.
Because they don't get the Zika virus. They carry it, right? Is that what you're familiar?
No, I thought that according to what we had heard, that those mosquitoes actually get the Zika virus. They are infected and they get the Zika virus.
The ones that we have don't.
No, they do, for some reason, do not get the virus. So why those certain mosquitoes get it, that's what they're going to try to find out with this genetic code mapping. And then additionally, the government says it's going to allow the use of an experimental test to screen blood donations.
Trying to get my ABC to pop up here. New concerns as well after a new study on pregnant women infected the Zika virus while on vacation in South America. Researchers found ultrasound tests on women's fetus didn't detect anything wrong until already 19 weeks pregnant, and that's well into the second trimester. Bazi Kanani from ABC has more on this study published yesterday in the New England Journal of Medicine.
Scientists say the study shows that early ultrasounds may give women with Zika a false sense of security, and by the time they learn of any severe brain abnormalities, they could be past the legal cutoff for abortion in many states. The study also found the Zika virus can persist in the blood of a pregnant woman for many weeks beyond what doctors previously believed. Bazi Kanani, ABC News, Washington.
Yeah, we're just learning more and more about this all the time.
Yeah, that's the thing is when you give hard, fast, the Zika virus can only do this or that, and you don't know anything about it.
And then you come back and change it.
Yeah.
It's so hard to change.
Mm-hmm.
In anything, really. You tell people one thing. Well, I thought you said. Things change.
You keep an open mind.
Things change. All right, we'll be right back after this, 7:21, getting ready to talk pet nutrition here on National Nutrition Month. It's Daybreak.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE News Radio.
Hi, I'm Scott Alsterberg, sales manager at the all-new Gillis Auto Center here in Shelton. Scott, I'm looking around the lot, and I see a lot more than just Dodge and Jeep and Ford.
You bet. Good local trades and good quality purchases from our community. We've got Subarus, Toyotas, Hondas, Kias, Hyundais, all the Chevrolets. We've got something for everybody. And not only that, we have certified pre-owned our Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and our full-line Ford family. And what that means is you get a 7-year, 100,000-mile warranty with those cars.
How about this being the time that you're liquidating your 2015 stock?
Well, what that means to you is you can come in our store, pick out any new 2015 that we have in stock, and we're literally going to give everything to you. I'm going to show you the invoice. I'm going to give you the dealer holdback, plus you're going to get all applicable rebates. You'll walk out of the store literally saving up to $9,923.
It is the all-new Gillis Auto Center, just off the Shelton City Center exit.
Just go to Gillis.
iFIBER ONE News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 presents Daybreak.
$7:23 here on a Thursday morning. Just like Carol Gardner, morning.
Good morning.
Another nice day today.
Very nice day today.
Good. I like it. I like it. People out there recreating.
It's a great day to go recreating, and we have a big recreating outfit in the area, REI.
Sure.
And officials say that REI has chosen Bellevue as the site of their new headquarters. The Outdoors Co-op, headquartered in Kent since 1988, has been looking for a new campus. And REI announced that it is doing a intent to develop 8 acres in Bellevue between State Route 520 and Bellred Road. It has about 1,200 employees at its headquarters and currently has other offices in Bellevue and in the Georgetown area of Seattle. The co-op should know by the summer if the deal can move forward. If the deal is finalized, the relocation could take place in 2020. That just sounds so far away, but it's really only 4 years.
4 years, not that long.
I know.
Well, they get that move going. They got plenty of backpacks in there.
Mm-hmm.
Recreational Equipment Incorporated. That's what REI stands for. I don't know if you knew that. Or I did not. I had to.
I had heard it probably in my past, but if you would have asked me on the spot, no. Recreational Equipment
Incorporated. I have a family member who works for one of them over in Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
Says it's a great place to work.
Oh, yeah. I bet.
Well, they're the ones that started that. They didn't start it, but it was that Black Friday, non-Black Friday.
Mm-hmm.
They said they were going to close. They were going to give everybody the day off, a paid day off, so they can get out and enjoy the outdoors on the day after Thanksgiving.
Right.
They were one of the first ones to do that. And I remember reading on his Facebook page that he was very excited to go out and recreate. We're on Facebook, facebook.com/1030KMAS. You can like the page, and all the news that we've got magically ends up on your own news feed. You can also go to iFIBER1newsradio.com to find out more information on the stories. But it's a good resource to have. Walkers and bike riders will have the chance to explore the new State Route 520 floating bridge this weekend before the structure opens to vehicle traffic. The new 6-lane bridge over Washington replaces the 4-lane version back in 1963 is when that was built. Grand opening celebration starts Saturday with a 10K run, 7 miles. Both bridges will be closed over the weekend for the events. The new bridge includes a 14-foot wide path for bicyclists and pedestrians. That's pretty impressive. And transit HOV lanes in each direction.
And Governor Jay Inslee has signed 2 education bills in Seattle yesterday, both aimed at helping disadvantaged kids get a better education. He signed a measure that'll help improve education for foster youth and a bill aimed at closing educational opportunity gaps. The measure calls for an end to long-term and open-ended suspensions and expulsions. It also improves bilingual instruction and asks for more cultural competency, if maybe I can be competent reading this, training for educators. Washington State has one of the largest achievement or opportunity gaps in the nation, which is interesting.
7:26 here at iFIBER One News Radio. Unhappy with how the 2016 presidential race is going so far, Carol?
Am I unhappy with it?
Yeah.
Not necessarily. No.
Well, if you are, one company is offering election insurance.
Might be feeling this way.
This ain't America, remember?
And there's also those who have quipped that they might head north if the wrong candidate gets elected this November.
I don't see moving to Canada as abandoning America. It's just north of America.
So now Esurance says they're offering election insurance.
It protects your home in the event that you decide to abandon it for the next 4 years.
The apparent April Fool's joke ad takes a swing at both sides of the aisle, saying they're not liable for any walls built after you leave, nor for any redistribution of assets for the greater good. Mark Remillard, ABC News.
Oh, man, starting to see some of those pranks.
Yeah.
You know who's always the best of the Brits? They have got some of the best pranks. There's one I read where they had, back before color TV, they said that if you put pantyhose over your black and white TV, it would magically transform it into color. They had the story about the spaghetti trees. Mm-hmm. There was that one where they sold the rights to the Philadelphia, the Liberty Bell, you know, the bell with the big crack in it, sold the rights to Taco Bell, so it was the Taco Liberty Bell. So 4th of July tomorrow, or not 4th of July, April Fool's Day tomorrow. So just start thinking about it.
Yeah, but, you know, it's not going to matter to you because you won't be here, so.
Maybe it's just in a big, elaborate ruse.
Right.
I love these April Fool pranks. I mentioned earlier in the week that one of the best ones that has got me, and I'm going to have to pass it along to Kaiser Rue. my mom put blue food coloring in my milk for when I was in elementary school. And I get to, and it's lunchtime, so I pull out my probably He-Man thermos or G.I. Joe. Speaking of, you know what I read yesterday? President Reagan was the guy who took I don't know if it was a ban or changed the rules for advertising in kids' shows. That's why we got G.I. Joe cartoons, because it's a product placement and things like that in kids' shows. So that's how we got My Little Pony cartoons, Transformers cartoons, and now the movies, and G.I. Joe and all that stuff.
Interesting.
So anyways, I was all sucked up into that as a kid. I had my Hercules He-Man thermos, pour out the milk, blue. And I just freak out. I couldn't handle it.
And what'd your friends say?
I don't remember. They probably laughed at me. There was only 9 kids in my class. It was private school.
Oh.
But
maybe
I
you were sitting
remember.
alone.
But I'd tell myself.
They're like, oh, blue milk.
So I had this blue milk. I couldn't drink the milk the whole day. I wasn't going to drink it. Even the teacher said, no, Jeff, it's okay. It's just like food coloring.
How old were you?
Young.
When you call yourself young.
I mean, relatively speaking, I don't know. It's like in up until 3rd grade, maybe 4th grade. What are you saying, that I should have known the difference?
Nope. I'm just saying that I feel sorry for your mom.
It's not the first time she's heard that. 7:30, Marilyn Foster. We'll be right back after this.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE Newsradio.
Local news is brought to you by Shelton Health and Rehabilitation Center. Find them online at sheltonhealthandrehab.com.
From the iFIBER ONE News Radio studios, I'm Marilyn Foster. We have an update on the Lake Boulevard Pioneer Way Improvement Project. Starting today through April 11th, the contractor will be installing and curing concrete curb and gutters on Lake Boulevard between University and the city limits. Starting Tuesday, April 5th at 7 a.m., the contractor will be installing concrete curb and gutters on Lake Boulevard between University and the city limits on the even-numbered addresses side of the street. Residents living on the even side of the street will not be able to park curbside or have access to and from their driveways, but can park across the street that day and night. Starting April 6th at 7 a.m., the contractor will be installing concrete curb and gutters on Lake Boulevard between University and the city limits on the odd number addresses side of the street. Residents living on both sides of the street can only park on the even side of the street that day and night. And residents on both sides of the street will still not have access to and from their driveways until Monday evening, April 11th, to allow sufficient time for the concrete to cure. But curbside parking will be allowed. This week, not only did the Washington State Legislature pass a supplemental budget, they also overrode Governor Jay Inslee's 27 vetoes. 35th District Representative Drew McEwen talked with Daybreak about that.
We did, in conjunction with the Senate, override 27 vetoes by the governor, and put that in context. The last time a bill was overridden by the legislature was in 1998. It was one bill. So there were 27 veto overrides that were done, and those bills are now officially law without the governor's support. So that was a fairly significant item last night as well.
Inslee vetoed the 27 bills on March 10th when the state legislature hadn't passed a supplemental budget during regular session. The 27 overrides came immediately after the Republican Senate agreed on a budget with the Democratic House. You can hear the full interview with Representative McEwen on the Daybreak page at iFIBER1newsradio.com. Habitat for Humanity of Mason County plans to build its 25th house in Shelton, and a groundbreaking ceremony is scheduled for tomorrow. Executive Director Marty Crow told Daybreak more about it.
Also, we're enjoying our 20th anniversary on that same day of the affiliate. In 20 years, we've built 25 homes. This last year, we spent a great deal of time supporting about 40 families in home preservation activities, helping them maintain and restore and stay in their homes. So there's a couple of efforts going on, a combination of new home construction and also preserving existing homes. So we've had a lot of fun, a lot of work's been done over the last few months.
The ceremony begins at 10 tomorrow morning on the building site at 2137 Washington Street, and the public is invited to attend. For iFIBER ONE News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3, I'm Marilyn Foster.
At Mason PUD 3, we know that time changes all things. like phone numbers, mailing addresses, and email addresses, even names. PUD3 needs your correct account information for emergency contacts and online security. To make this fun, all PUD3 customers who update or confirm their account information by April 27th will have their names placed into a drawing for a free iPad mini. Go to masonpud3.org/account to learn more.
The Chad Benson Show.
I would be frustrated at times too as president, never being able to get anything done. Because the people, if you will, below you are going to fight all the time. So it would be frustrating as hell. I get it. He goes about it the wrong way. That's not what you're supposed to do as a leader. But in saying that, I understand. I do.
The Chad Benson Show.
Hey, it's Chad Benson. Join me this afternoon from 3 to 6 at iFIBER ONE Newsradio.
Hi, everybody. Dave Packer reporting on sports. A videotape by guard D'Angelo Russell showed teammate Nick Young talking about cheating on his fiancée. The film ended up on the web, and ESPN has reported there's tension in the locker room with players angry at Russell. The 2015 first-round pick denied releasing the footage, but apologized to his teammate.
I've reached out to him, talked a little bit, but I let him know my apologies. I don't know if they were accepted, but I wouldn't blame him.
On the court, the Lakers beat Miami last night in OT. The Warriors get a come-from-behind overtime victory in Utah. The team's now 5 wins away from the best regular season in NBA history, but not everyone's impressed. Head coach Steve Kerr heckled after the win.
That's why we have this record. Our guys compete every night.
A lot of minutes on your troops.
Sorry, somebody's telling me how much I suck right now. Sorry, go ahead.
This is ABC Sports. The San Antonio Spurs making history of their own. They're 38-0 at home this season, and that's an NBA record.
Rebound, Perkins, but it's taken away from him by Mills, who dribbles to the left corner for 3. Good day, Mike! Patty Mills with a steal, dribble to the corner and drain the 3.
WOAI Spurs beat New Orleans 100-92. Toronto sets a franchise record with a win over Atlanta. The Raptors at the 50-win mark, the first time they've done it.
We're going to go down and, in the record books, that's big. You can never take that away. And, we have the opportunity to continue to build on it.
That's guard DeMar DeRozan. Other scores, Denver clips Memphis 109-105. Clippers blow out the Timberwolves by 20. Milwaukee beats Phoenix 105-94. Dallas sinks the Knicks 91-89. And Sacramento trumps the Wizards 120-111. Tough year for the NHL sides north of the border. No Canadian team will make the playoffs. That hasn't happened since 1970. Dave Packer, ABC Sports.
Now, from the all-new Gillis Auto Center Sports Desk, here's Jeff Slinky.
Thanks. Good morning to you. 7:36 on a Thursday morning. Great sports news to pass along. Starting off just up the hill. Shelton softball exploded for 10 runs in the second inning on their way to a 16-6 victory over Capital. The Cougs, big win for the High Climbers. They're 3-0. Check out the website later today. Sports director Sean Wells will have full video highlights from the big win, including interviews with players and coaches. Mariners getting close. Only a handful of days left before opening day, Monday. Felix pitched yesterday, kind of getting the last little kinks there worked out. It was a loss to the Padres, 7-5. He allowed 4 runs, all in the first inning. I'm not worried. You worried?
No.
I'm not worried. Struck out 1, walked 1. The 40-man roster has been filled. Opening day Monday against the Rangers of Texas. Pregame at noon. Right here on AM 1030 and FM 1033. Sean Wells will be in, sports director, half an hour or so after we talk with Will and Laura Farr from Fiddlefest. That's in the 8 o'clock hour. We'll talk to him about that big win for Shelton Soccer over Foss. He's covering the Wilson game tonight. Shelton softball update, they're undefeated. Final 4 predictions, and as I mentioned, Mariners baseball just around the corner. Those conversations with sports director Sean Wells coming up on Daybreak. Now, though, we need to, is it revel? Should we revel in the nice weather?
Let's revel in the nice weather. Is that the word? It's another beautiful sunny day. We're going to have highs in the upper 60s, low 70s, depending where you're standing. Tomorrow, most likely warmer. Sunshine continues, and it's going to stay a few more days. So get out and enjoy it while we have it. And right now, it's about 40 in Shelton.
It's always colder if you're standing in someone's shadow. I mean, if you're standing.
Now, from the iFIBER ONE Newsradio studios, it's Daybreak. Providing local news, sports, weather, and interviews to the South Sound's most important people. You, from business leaders to politicians, from activists for change to advocates for the poor. Your neighbors and newsmakers are here on Daybreak.
7:38 here on a Thursday morning, and a good morning to you. I'm just like you, along with Carol Gardner. And hey, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
It's a great day yesterday. Very nice. So excited to hear that it is continuing on. We continue and talk about nutrition here on Daybreak, as the month of March is National Nutrition Month. We've had some great conversations. Kicked it off at the beginning of the month with Joe Sanchez from Mason County Public Health. He's going to be in next week or in the next couple of weeks as well, talking about more public health issues. We then talked with Jeannie Raywalt from the school district about how the kids are getting nutrition. Then we talked with Terry Shaw from the Senior Center and a representative from Senior Services of the South Sound on nutrition there and different changes as you get older, some things you need to look at. And then today, we're going to kick it down to our four-legged friends. So that'll be a fun conversation. It'll be mostly dog focused because it's from Adopt a Pet, great dog place here. Full disclosure, that's where Simon and Winston both came from. Great dogs still. 7:39 right now. We've got more headlines to share throughout the morning. Big award given to the Beards Cove folks. Jeff Chu has that story on iFiber1newsradio.com. This weekend, the 520 floating bridge up in Seattle will be open, not to traffic, but to walkers and bike riders. There's a fun run, 7 miles there that you can go over the bridge. Not the first person, though, to go over the bridge. Some Yahoo on a police chase drove on there a couple weeks ago. Troy Kelly had someone take the stand who used to work for him against him in that trial that's going on. And REI is planning to move its headquarters. 7:41 here on a Thursday morning, and a good morning to you. It is Daybreak.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE Newsradio.
You know, there's nothing like the look and feel of a real newspaper. Award-winning writers in design, voted one of the best newspapers in Washington, the Mason County Journal has the news, opinion, and information you want. Full of colorful photos and great-looking ads, share it with family and friends. No electricity required. Look for us at over 80 locations throughout the county or visit masoncounty.com. The Mason County Journal, a big part of this wonderful place we call home.
The pros and cons of filing for an extension. I'm ABC's Richard Davies with today's tax tip. If you don't have time to file your taxes by the April 15th deadline, accountant Janice Heyman says you can file for an extension.
The pros would be it gives you more time. If you're rushed during the winter tax season, it gives you more time to either put your paperwork in order. It gives you more time to make a retirement contribution if you are self-employed.
Tom Wheelwright, CEO and founder of the CPA firm Provision.
You have a lower chance of being audited if you file an extension.
But there could be a downside.
The con would be only if you think you owe money. An extension does not extend the time to pay. So my recommendation is always let's do our best guesstimate and pay something with the extension by April 15th.
With Form 4868, you have 6 more months to file your return. If you're owed a refund by the IRS, the sooner you file, the sooner you'll get your money. With today's tax tip, I'm Richard Davies, ABC News.
Wittenberg CPA is a professional accounting, tax, and financial consulting firm serving the diverse needs of their businesses and individual clients. They bring excellence and integrity to every aspect of their work, from accounting software support like QuickBooks to tax preparation for individual and business needs, as well as personal, financial, and estate planning services. Wittenberg CPA has the services you or your business needs this year for taxes. Find them online at wittenbergcpa.com or call 426-0230. That's 426-0230.
iFIBER ONE Newsradio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 presents Daybreak.
Good morning to you. 7:43 on a Thursday morning, and it's Daybreak here with Jeff Lakey and Carol Gardner. Hi, Carol.
Hi, Jeff.
We continue our conversations with National Nutrition Month, but we're going to switch it up a little bit as we talk with Terry Thomas from Adopt a Pet. And good morning, Terry.
Good morning.
Nice to see you in again. Been about a year and a half. Is that what we figured out?
Right.
Very cool. So we've been talking all month. March is National Nutrition Month. So we started off talking about the county's health and how the county's doing. And then we looked to the schools and the school district, talked about the senior health. And then we figured, let's talk about pets because they're a part of our lives. They're our babies as well.
They're part of our family.
Part of our families, dogs and cats, to be sure. Simon and Winston came to me from Adopt a Pet. I adopted them both, and it was an easy and great experience. You can go on adoptapet.wa.org and see all the pets that are available. Volunteers are always needed, but we're talking nutrition this morning. There's a lot of different foods out there for dogs, isn't there?
There's a lot of different foods. You can go with the commercially prepared dry or the semi-moist, or you can make your own. There's the raw diets. It's pretty much anything you want to do, kind of like your own nutrition. You can eat out of a box, or you can go more higher nutrition.
Sure.
But how do you determine what to feed your pet?
You need to ask your pet, and obviously they don't talk.
Right.
So it's up to you as a responsible pet owner to just be really observant. A healthy dog's going to have a shiny coat, clear eyes, lots of energy, not losing their hair. Granted, there could be some illness issues, but it could be nutrition as well. So you just need to be observant. I tend to kind of do a pat down once a week. They think they're getting petted and scratched, but it's kind of a look for lumps and bumps and checking the ears and teeth. So, if you're seeing red skin, maybe you've got some allergy issues. If they're gaining some weight or losing some weight, you just keep an eye on that.
So if most people use a commercial dog food, so do we trust these commercial dog food people, or we just have to watch our pet to see if that's working for our pet?
Yeah, I was hoping you would ask that. And I know some people are having breakfast, so I'm going to be a little careful here. But there's been a lot of recalls lately, more I think with dog food than there has been even with people food. When you mass produce a commercial product and maybe the USDA is not watching it as closely as people food, there's some stuff going on. And I not only am with Adopt a Pet, but I also foster bulldogs with Bulldog Haven, and they tend to have everything they can wrong with them. So I've by force learned a lot about nutrition lately. And the resource that I always go back to is a website called dogfoodadvisor.com. And you can go by different categories and look up foods, and they'll give you the information if it's a 1-star food or a 5-star food. But I would really suggest people scroll down a little bit and kind of look at the general information about foods. In particular, maybe look at the area called byproducts. And there's stuff in there that you're going to be surprised about.
Really? To fill out the food pellets, or?
Well,
is that what they're used for?
It's meat byproducts mostly. Okay. And if you see the word on your food, there's a dog. Good morning. If you see
We're very dog friendly here at the old radio.
Thank you for sharing.
It's Willow, by the way.
Hi, Willow. You'll talk? Good morning. If you see the word generic byproduct, believe it or not, that can be roadkill, euthanized animals from shelters, dead zoo animals, diseased livestock. And you're making a face, so I'm not going to go any farther, but
it's just
kind of
so sad
scary.
That they can use any type of a word, and it can mean so many things.
Yeah, and it's legal.
It's legal, yeah.
And one other thing you want to take a look at, and you see this in people food too, is the ingredients are listed by weight, by volume. So the higher the ingredient on the list, the more of it. Dog food, they want to show meat. Right. Meat is the #1 ingredient. look very closely on those ingredients, because what they'll do is they'll take one ingredient, say corn, and they'll process it differently so that it shows up as two different items. So you could have cornmeal, peas, pea flour, all that stuff. So it'll go lower on the list, but if you add it up, it's the number one ingredient. And you really don't want a grain as the number one ingredient for a meat eater.
Mm-hmm.
So just like with your own food, look at the labels, but that website's a good resource because you can look at the label and still not know what you're looking at.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow, I don't think I realized that. One of the things that when I look at dog food, for whatever reason, I've been getting ones that are supposedly have salmon or high omegas, because I figure they say, well, it's good for humans to have a lot of fish or salmon. Mm-hmm. Do it for the dogs as well. Is it beneficial to look at it that way as well? Like, if I would eat this, then maybe he would eat this.
Yes, but also what I call the lycopene situation. Remember when ketchup was a vegetable, and you'll see on the ketchup label that it contains lycopene, because lycopene's awesome. Well, you'd probably have to drink 3 gallons of ketchup per day to get the lycopene that will make a difference. So, it goes back again to the percentages. And I know a lot of people that'll supplement diets for their dogs, and especially if their dog's a little overweight. We're finding fruits and vegetables. It's a good thing for them. And a lot of them actually like it. I have a dog that unfortunately loves bananas, which is an outdoor treat because it's disgusting when it gets done. But I think more and more as people are kind of coming back to nutrition, they're also looking at their dogs instead of just the bag of dry food from the local discount store. They're looking a little closer, and it's pretty scary when you look at the sales of dog food. And what it's pretty incredible. We're looking at a lot of money going to the pet industry, but it's important. They have very short lives. They're not with us enough, and you can do a lot just with the nutrition and the exercise to make sure that they stay as long as they can.
Dogfoodadvisor.com is a good website to look at that Terry's been talking about. What's going on with Adopt a Pet? I see here you are looking for some volunteers, supplies, donations.
That's a given. We're a nonprofit.
Always looking for that stuff.
Yeah, it's been so busy. We've started doing more outreach. And we went from, in 2013, adopting out 209 dogs to 249 in 2014. Last year, we did 323 dogs.
Wow.
And, that's a huge strain on resources. So we do need more volunteers. We do need, more money for things and improvements. And
what would a volunteer do? Can they kind of decide that they want to walk the dogs, or?
Yeah, we have a core kennel group, because you kind of have to feed them and get them out in the morning. And so we've got a core that we rely on. So if you're going to come in on Mondays, you really need to come in on Mondays and make arrangements. If not, but we have a lot of people that just drop in, walk dogs, come in with their teenagers, walk dogs. People like me, I started out walking dogs, and now I barely get to go there anymore because I'm doing a lot of the outreach. And we need grant writers, so it's not just, getting furry, getting dirty and furry. It's a lot of other things. We need the kennel environment's very stressful for the dogs, even as much time and effort as we put into them. So we always need people to just sit in a corner and pet them, calm them down. A lot of the dogs we get in have behavior problems, no fault of their own. Sure. Honestly, there's no such thing as a bad dog. So they need some time. We got a lot of energetic adolescent dogs just because they haven't been trained properly. So we always need people to train them, or just go throw a Frisbee. So there's a lot of things to do down there. But yeah, I know a lot of people fear commitment of volunteering because they're going to get sucked in, which yes, we do sometimes. Yeah. But, come when you need a boost, because you always walk out happy.
Sure.
Come down, walk a dog, pet a dog, just hang out with us.
A lot of worse things I could think of than going and petting a dog or walking a dog.
And I hear from a lot of people, oh my gosh, how do you do that? I'd want to take them all home. That was my husband's fear too. And they've not come home. Well, okay, they come home on a weekend visit sometimes just to romp, but you'll find that you can care for a dog, help a dog, love a dog, and you don't have to own the dog or take the dog home. So, and I'll tell you what, when we've had a hard case and they finally get adopted, it's like major celebration.
Yeah.
Everybody's crying and laughing. So it's really a good experience. It does a body good.
So you say you adopted out over 300 dogs last year. So how many dogs are there per day?
Well, it's interesting because you can come in on a Monday and Tuesday, half the kennel's gone, but there's all new faces, that you get to know.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no rhyme or reason. I mean, sometimes we have a bunch of big dogs and then other days there's all these little small yappy dogs, and every day is new.
So how do you figure out how many dogs you're going to feed and how much dog food do you go through?
Well, we have a pretty stocked shelf. We use mostly 3 kinds of food. So we don't have a lot of information on some of the dogs when they come in. Some of them have been neglected, abused, hard to say, why they look so bad. So we basically, they go on a lamb and rice food. And that's kind of a neutral food. That's usually something that most dogs will tolerate. Unless we really see signs of an allergy, a lot of scratching, missing hair, which that could be fleas as well, or a lot of redness in the ears or paw lickers and stuff like that. So we suspect a food allergy. So we actually have a gluten-free food. A lot of people talk about grain-free, but there's other starches in dog food that can cause problems as well. Potatoes, sweet potatoes, better choice, but still bothers some dogs. There's tapioca in there. Sometimes that bothers dogs. So we get our food, our gluten-free food, from Critters Pet Store. Sherry up there is an amazing resource. I mean, anything you want to know about dog food, go to her, and she stocks a really good supply of high-quality food. And she'll even special order things for you so you don't have to drive to Olympia and, go to a big box store.
Yes. Is there anything you shouldn't feed your dog?
For sure. Chocolate, grapes. We know that they sit and beg and give you those big brown eyes, but they really don't need your sugary, salty, fatty foods. They'll be just as happy if you hand them a carrot stick or some cauliflower, oddly. But never grapes, never chocolate.
What would happen? I mean, what happens? Is it immediate effect? Like if your dog all of a sudden jumped up on your counter and got your chocolate bar that you had just set down? I mean, do you panic? What would you do?
Yeah, well, call the vet. But usually it's like with grapes, it's cumulative. It's a kidney issue.
Okay.
So you want to be careful. Another thing that is catching a lot of people off guard is xylitol. And we know that that's in, sugarless gums and stuff. But a lot of your foods in your kitchen now have it. Peanut butter is kind of a cool thing for dogs, especially if you're trying to get a pill down them. But a lot of the peanut butter, not a lot, but some of the peanut butters now contain xylitol. So look at those labels because that will take them down fast.
I had heard about that recently. So that is interesting.
That's become an issue. Definitely, yeah.
Well, Terry, thank you so much for coming on today. I look on the website, I see 11 dogs, and I could probably
take all of them
home. The big Max, the American Bulldog, looks like
love
a cutie.
Max. And one thing to keep in mind is what you see on the website are the ones that are available, because we get dogs in every day, but we don't post them right away.
Sure.
We need to get to know them, learn a little bit about, and the strays, we keep, and we try and find their owners for quite a while till we release those too. So come on down. We're open Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, 10 to 3.
Adoptapet-wa.org, and it's up on Jensen Road. You can head to Adopt a Pet. Terry, thanks for coming in today and talking to us about this.
Thank you.
Learned a lot.
Appreciate it. Take care.
7:56 now at iFIBER ONE News Radio. The ABC News is coming up. We'll check the Old Farmer right now and be right back after this.
Listening to Daybreak on iFIBER ONE News Radio.
As the year's first quarter ends, we take another look at the lions and lambs of March. More about the misunderstood folklore on the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report. With more practical tips and useful advice, this is the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report for Thursday, March 31st, the 91st day of the year. Actress Shirley Jones shares a birthday with Christopher Walken, and in Paris, the Eiffel Tower opened on this day in 1889. That famous March weather proverb, "In like a lion, out like a lamb," is put to the test today, and while March March may indeed be a bit more turbulent at the beginning of the month. The origin of the phrase may have nothing to do with weather. Stargazers say the lion is a reference to the constellation Leo that was rising in the east early in the month, while the lamb is the constellation Aries, or Ram, which is now setting in the west. The coming and going of these constellations gave us the phrase in like a lion, out like a lamb. And that is the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report. Learn more about astronomy online. Just go to almanac.com.
iFIBER One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 presents Daybreak.
All right, good morning to you. It's 8:15 at iFIBER One News Radio. Getting ready to hear some fiddle music from Will and Laura Farr. Always great times. And tickets to give away for Fiddle Fest, which is coming up on Saturday. Have a couple pairs to pass along to a lucky caller. So that's coming up. Also, ABC News in a couple of moments here. Mary Lynn Foster has some updates for us to pass along on the Lake Boulevard Pioneer Way work update. Some news on the legislature and the Habitat for Humanity groundbreaking. Additional stories that we are talking about today. The Beards Cove community received an Environmental Achievement Award, and you can read that full write-up on iFIBER1newsradio.com. Carbon tax initiative heading to the November ballot, and PUD3 has come out against that initiative. You can see their press release on their PUD3 website. Also follow them on Twitter and Facebook.
We have it on our website as well.
And on iFIBER1newsradio.com. And the Mountaineers are going to sell their Snoqualmie Pass site to a ski area. All those stories are coming up here in the next hour. Still Sean Wells, Steve Goins for Focus on Shelton. Our next guests are Will and Laura Farr talking about Fiddle Fest.
Busy day.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER One News Radio.
Alex Jones and InfoWars on from 6 to 9 weekdays on iFIBER One News Radio, AM 1030 and FM 103.3 KMAS Shelton.
Here's the latest from ABC News. I'm Karen Chase. Donald Trump is being roundly criticized for saying if abortion is banned, women who get them should be punished. He later retracted it, but ABC's Megan Hughes says activists on all sides of the issue are outraged.
During an MSNBC forum in Wisconsin, Donald Trump was asked to define what it would mean to ban abortion.
Do you believe in punishment for abortion? Yes or no, as a principle?
The answer is that there has to be some form of punishment.
For the woman?
Yeah, there has to be some form.
Hours later, Trump completely reversed course, saying if abortion is banned, the doctor or any other person performing this illegal act upon a woman would be held legally responsible, not the woman. Megan Hughes, ABC News, Washington.
Women will be allowed to take the so-called abortion pill later in a pregnancy under a new FDA labeling rule. The agency now says the drug is safe and effective up to 21 days later than previously instructed. World leaders are gathering at the White House at this hour to brainstorm on ways to prevent nuclear weapons from getting into the wrong hands. ABC's Lana Zak is there.
The White House is feeling optimistic about the Nuclear Security Summit, telling reporters our inboxes will be full as world leaders gather together to make commitments on 4 pillars of nuclear safety: disarmament, non-proliferation, security, and nuclear energy. And with recent events, the White House is hoping to prevent the smuggling of nuclear materials and safeguard nuclear facilities from cyber attacks, as well as multilateral action on North Korea. But some are wondering if the absence of Russia will hinder progress. The White House seems undeterred, saying the Russians continue to be a partner. Lana Zak, ABC News, the White House.
Ford is recalling about 38,000 2015 and 16 Transit vans because the side curtain airbags may not properly protect people in a crash. Lakers players Nick Young and D'Angelo Russell held separate but awkward news conferences. D'Angelo said he apologized for posting a video of Young talking about other women, but acknowledging he can't make it right away. This is ABC News.
Aches, pains, looking for a solution to silence arthritis? Blue Emu Maximum Arthritis Pain Relief Cream is the answer. Use it for arthritis pain, strains, sprains, bruises, and more. Don't let your achy joints and muscles slow you down. Make you feel like you again. Give Blue Emu Maximum Arthritis Pain Relief Cream a try today. Beat the pain.
Available in stores nationwide.
Ah, spring. A time when all of nature's creatures come to life. But wait, what's that? A pothole? And another? Don't wave the white flag just yet. For a suspension that rides as good as new, get tried and true shocks and struts from Monroe at your neighborhood Advance Auto Parts. And get them even faster when you order online and pick them up in store. Advance Auto Parts. Let's get you back to the garage. Also available at participating CarQuest Auto Parts. Some restrictions apply. See store for details.
Amid renewed interest in the Simpson case by a new series, a famous face is stepping up to claim his innocence. ABC's Jason Nathanson explains.
FX's The People vs. O.J. Simpson is a smash hit.
Well, I'm not black. I'm O.J.
And ESPN has a documentary series coming on the trial. Now, Investigation Discovery has landed its own docu-series called Hard Evidence, O.J. is Innocent. And one of the guys behind it, Martin Sheen. He's executive producer and narrator of the series, which will reportedly unveil an entirely new theory about who killed Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman in 1994. The Hollywood Reporter says Investigation Discovery landed the show after a competitive bidding war. Look for it next year. Jason Nathanson, ABC News, Hollywood.
Uncle Sam is being hit up for more money. The number of people filing jobless benefit claims rose 11,000 last week, but the longer-term numbers remain at a healthy low level. Yesterday, a private payroll processor said employers added 200,000 new workers to their rolls last month. The government's jobs report comes out tomorrow. Karen Chase, ABC News.
Local news is brought to you by Fred Holmes Tree Service. FredHolmesTreeService.com, 427-4489.
From the iFIBER ONE Newsradio studios, I'm Mary Lynn Foster. We have an update on the Lake Boulevard Pioneer Way Improvement Project. Starting today through April 11th, the contractor will be installing and curing concrete curb and gutters on Lake Boulevard between University and the city limits. Starting Tuesday, April 5th at 7 a.m., the contractor will be installing concrete curb and gutters on Lake Boulevard between University and the city limits on the even-numbered addresses side of the street. Residents living on the even side of the street will not be able to park curbside or have access to and from their driveways, but can park across the street that day and night. Starting April 6th at 7 a.m., the contractor will be installing concrete curb and gutters on Lake Boulevard between University and the city limits on the odd number addresses side of the street. Residents living on both sides of the street can only park on the even side of the street that day and night. And residents on both sides of the street will still not have access to and from their driveways until Monday evening, April 11th, to allow sufficient time for the concrete to cure. But curbside parking will be allowed. This week, not only did the Washington State Legislature pass a supplemental budget, they also overrode Governor Jay Inslee's 27 vetoes. 35th District Representative Drew McEwen talked with Daybreak about that.
We did, in conjunction with the Senate, override 27 vetoes by the governor, and to put that in context, the last time a bill was overridden by the legislature was in 1998. It was one bill. So there were 27 veto overrides that were done, and those bills are now officially law without the governor's support. So that was a fairly significant item last night as well.
Inslee vetoed the 27 bills on March 10th when the state legislature hadn't passed a supplemental budget during regular session. The 27 overrides came immediately after the Republican Senate agreed on a budget with the Democratic House. You can hear the full interview with Representative McEwen on the Daybreak page at iFIBER1newsradio.com. Habitat for Humanity of Mason County plans to build its 25th house in Shelton, and a groundbreaking ceremony is scheduled for tomorrow. Executive Director Marty Crow told Daybreak more about it.
Also, are enjoying our 20th anniversary on that same day of the affiliate. In 20 years, we've built 25 homes. This last year, we spent a great deal of time supporting about 40 families in home preservation activities, helping them maintain and restore and stay in their homes. So there's a couple of efforts going on, a combination of new home construction and also preserving existing homes. So we've had a lot of fun, a lot of work's been done over the last few months.
The ceremony begins at 10 tomorrow morning on the building site at 2137 Washington Street, and the public is invited to attend. For iFIBER ONE News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3, I'm Mary Lynn Foster.
Well, the Mariners have been down in the desert for a few weeks now.
Goodbye baseball, onto the berm, Robbie Cadeau.
The vets are sounding good, and the rookies are looking to make the cut. Before too long, it will be opening day And iFIBER One News Radio is your home for Seattle Mariners baseball all season long. You can listen on AM 1030 or FM 103.3. The South Sound home for Mariners baseball this season is iFIBER One News Radio, AM 1030 or FM 103.3.
Is your family doing some growing? Whether it's an expansion of your home or the addition of a new family car, Peninsula Credit Union can provide fast, friendly service with terrific rates. We offer personal lines of credit, affordable auto loans, and a variety of home loan options to get you moving. Visit our offices in Shelton, Belfair, Paulsbo, Port Orchard, and Port Townsend, or go online to pcfcu.org. At Peninsula Credit Union, our priority is you.
Now, from the all-new Gillis Auto Center Sports Desk, here's Jeff Slakey.
Thanks. Good morning. 8:08 here, AM 1030 and FM 103.3. I'm Jeff Slakey. We are checking sports news this morning. Shelton softball exploded for 10 runs in the second inning on their way to a 16-6 victory over Capital. Big win for the Climbers. Now moved to 3-0. Check the website later today, as Sports Director Sean Wells will have full video highlights from the big win, including interviews with players and coaches. Seattle ace Felix Hernandez pitched 3 innings. Mariners lost yesterday 7-5. Final start before opening day. Hernandez allowed 4 runs, all in the first, and 4 hits as well. Struck out 1, walked 1. Mariners have made enough moves. They're filled out. Their 40-man roster ready to go. Couple games today, tomorrow, and Saturday. Sunday off. And then opening day, Monday against the Texas Rangers. Pregame at noon. It's going to be a lot of fun. April 4th, April 11th, we'll start our Mariners Monday ticket giveaway contests here on Daybreak. Sean Wells will be covering the Shelton soccer game tonight versus Wilson. It's going to be a beautiful day for prep sports. Here's Carol with the forecast.
Right.
Oh, go ahead.
It's another sunny day. Highs around the 70s. Tomorrow, most likely warmer. And the sunshine is going to stay a little longer. Through the weekend, probably. Okay. Probably.
I'll take that weekend
right.
at least.
At least Saturday. At least Saturday is going to be nice and sunny. And right now it's about 40.
Now, from the iFIBER One News Radio studios, it's Daybreak. Providing local news, sports, weather, and interviews to the South Sound's most important people. You. From business leaders to politicians, from activists for change to advocates for the poor, your neighbors and newsmakers are here on Daybreak.
$8:11 now at iFIBER One News Radio. I'm Jeff Slakey along with Carol Gardner, Will, and Laura Farr warming up in the green room this morning. Carol, getting ready for some fiddle music.
Shay, I hope our host is better this time with food and drinks. Yesterday, our guest said Dell didn't even serve him food and drinks when they were in the green room.
Just sitting there. Well, regardless, Shelton Fiddle Fest is coming up on Saturday. There are 2 shows, a 1 o'clock and a 6 o'clock. Tickets are just $10. It's going to be at the Shelton School District Performing Arts Center. We're going to hear some great music in just a couple of moments here on Daybreak. Fiddle Fest. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER One News Radio.
Sometimes GPS lets you down. Always have a map handy in the glove box. And that's an easy thing to do with Mass Marketing Maps. These maps are free. Pick one up today at West Realty in Hoodsport, Mountain View Licensing on Wallace Neyland, at the Agate Store, and at iFIBER One News Radio. So the next time technology lets you down, be prepared with a new map from Mass Marketing.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
To get your free inventors information, call 1-800-358-7816. That's 1-800-358-7816. Again, 1-800-358-7816.
Attention music lovers, in the mood for a little rock and roll this spring?
Come catch Heart by Heart live at Lucky Eagle Casino April 15th and 16th.
They'll play your favorite Heart tunes, and your $15 tickets include $10 in free play and $5 credit at our new Craft House Sports Bar.
So come enjoy an evening of great music, food, and fun for a song.
Heart by Heart, April 15th and 16th at Lucky Eagle Casino and Hotel, I-5 to exit 88, Rochester, Washington, where you belong.
iFIBER ONE Newsradio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 presents Daybreak.
14 here on a Thursday morning. On the weekend is coming up, and Fiddle Fest is happening in Shelton, and we are happy to have Will and Laura Farr back in studio. Good morning, gang.
Howdy. How are you,
Jeff? Good to see you again. We are well.
Good morning.
Fiddle Fest. We talked with you last week about Fiddle Fest, and once again, we're just going to let people know that there is a big event happening at the Shelton School District Performing Arts Center on Saturday. 2 shows, a 1 o'clock and a 6 o'clock. We'll have tickets to pass along to a couple of lucky callers here later today, later after the interview, but we're going to get some music here in a minute. But first, Fiddle Fest. Again, for someone who is just tuning in for the first time, Fiddle Fest, what's the deal with it? Why do we love it so much?
Oh, it's just great old-time music, and we are, it's at the high school, which is the Performing Arts Center, but if people were new to the area and didn't know, the high school is the location.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Pardon me. So it's just lots of different people from around the area that have different play different instruments, fiddles, guitars, mandolins, banjos, piano, vocals, all kinds of things.
We talked last week about some of the kids that get involved with this.
Right.
Let's go down that list.
Whole families, lots of kids. Yeah, and most of those are going to be, well, there'll be some on the afternoon show, but a good portion of them will be on the evening show. But there's, the whole families get involved, and their kids are all playing, and parents are playing. They're just, it's great.
So it's like the Crichton Family Band, the Nakla Band. So those
and
are
then we have the Silwick sisters too. So they have combined with the Crichton Family Band, and Megan plays the harp, the concert harp.
Oh, like the big harp?
Yeah, the big harp. Yeah.
Whoa.
So I don't know if she's doing that at Fiddle Fest, but I have a feeling she is.
Isn't that
Yeah,
something?
I think she is.
So when we talk about fiddle music, we talk about the kids. Have you guys been playing as long as the kids when they started?
I have.
Oh, okay.
But Will hasn't. So this is kind of the opposite extremes, because I started when I was 9 years old, and I've been playing ever since. And he didn't start playing guitar actually until he was, 60?
No, older than that.
Oh, older than that. Okay. Well,
11 years now.
11.
11 years?
Yeah, and he's kind of old, so.
Can you see on the? Oh, he's filming it, so.
11 years, that's it?
That's
That's
it.
pretty good for just 11.
How long do you need?
Well, Yeah, he's really good backup. He's very good backup. So
let's hear a song this morning that you likely to hear, maybe some stylings of the music that you'll hear this weekend at Fiddle Fest. What's the song we're going to play?
I think we'll do Redbird.
Redbird there, Will and Laura Farr. So is that that's the type of music that we're going to hear, the traditional
You'll hear
fiddle?
all kinds of music, from hoedowns to waltzes to country to Cajun, perhaps swing. We have a great swing player coming in. What else? Probably some bluegrass, probably some Celtic.
So these are the roots of all the music that we listen to now.
Yeah.
You hear certain phrases and things like that when you play this kind of music, especially in the country genre.
Right.
So folks are definitely encouraged to come and learn about the history of their favorite styling of music. Country's like the most popular style of music in the United States. And a lot of people may not know that this comes from the fiddle.
Oh yeah.
And that stuff.
Yeah, this is kind of the roots of everything. It all, I mean, actually classical, because we came out of the classical movement too, you know? So yeah, it's quite varied.
We have tickets to give away, but where can people get tickets to this?
Either SheltonFiddlefest.com or at the door.
Okay.
So yeah, and there's no difference in price of, getting them early. So
$10 a ticket.
Yeah.
$5 for the student or the child.
Right.
It is Saturday, the 2nd of April, this Saturday, a 1 o'clock show and a 6 o'clock show.
And then I might add too, Jeff, that the choir at the high school is in partnership with us for this event.
Oh, great.
So what we do is we're a nonprofit organization, the Washington Old Time Fiddlers Association, and we run this workshop every summer for a week in Moses Lake. And we teach fiddle, mandolin, guitar, banjo, everything from beginning kids or adults who have never touched an instrument before up to advanced levels. And a lot of these kids you're going to see have been going to camp for 6 or 7 years now. And they come back so inspired, and they just go gangbusters. I don't know what I was going to say now, darn it.
Well, a lot of the proceeds
that
this show provides is for scholarships for the kids.
That's right.
That camp.
And we had our interviews at our meeting, our district meeting last month, or this month actually, for the kids that want scholarships. So we are sending 21 kids this year with full scholarships and paying for their meals.
Oh, that's great.
While they're at camp. So
that's going to be really great.
Yeah.
And that's all of District 5?
Yes, all of District 5.
Which is?
District 5 encompasses Mason, Kitsap, Grace Harbor, and Pacific counties. So it's a huge area. So, but most of our kids are right from here in Mason and Kitsap counties. So most of them are actually Mason, aren't they? I don't know if we have any from Kitsap this year.
That's good. Keeping it local. Shelton Fiddle Fest is this weekend. Can we hear another song before I get you out of here?
Sure.
Got something ready for
We'll
me?
do
Before you get rid of us,
Buckshot and Waverly. Once through each.
Laura Farr on Daybreak this morning. Great job, as always, when you're here performing for us. Shelton Fiddle Fest is this Saturday, a 1 o'clock show, a 6 o'clock show, $10 for the tickets, $5 for the student and the child. You can get them either at sheltonfiddlefest.com or up at the high school right before you head into to hear the show. Yep. So we've got a couple pair.
Yeah, family is $25.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, that's a good deal then.
Yeah.
Okay, great. We will add that to our talking points, and we've got pairs of tickets to give away. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
Have a great weekend.
You too.
Good to see you. And at 462-1041 this morning, the iFIBER One News Radio listener line, you can call in now and win pairs of tickets to the 1 o'clock show or the 6 o'clock show. We do have the phone lines lighting up already, and let's say good morning.
Good morning.
Who are we talking to?
I'm talking to Deanna.
Deanna, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. We've got a couple pairs here. You want a pair of tickets to Fiddle Fest?
That would be great.
All right, Deanna, do you want to go to the 1 o'clock show or the 6 o'clock show?
Well, probably it's on Saturday. Probably the 6 o'clock show.
All right. I got your name down here.
Okay, and we just come down and pick up the
Yep.
tickets?
You know where we are.
You bet.
All right, Deanna, thank you. Just that easy. We do have one more pair of tickets to give away for the Shelton Fiddle Fest for the afternoon or the evening performance here. And now we have on the phone line, good morning.
Morning. How you doing?
Oh, I know who this is. It's Big Bill Cole. How you doing, Bill?
I'm doing great.
Good to talk with you. Been a little bit.
Yeah.
Going to Fiddle Fest? You want to go to Fiddle Fest? I got 2 tickets for you. You want to go to the 1 o'clock or the 6 o'clock?
Let's go for the 1 o'clock.
All right. Bill, I got your info here. Good to talk with you, and we'll see you around town.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Bye. Just like that, the winning is easy here on Daybreak, and there we go. Our tickets to Fiddle Fest. Very nice. Coming up on iFIBER One News Radio, we got to check the morning stock numbers. Still upcoming, Sports Director Sean Wells and Marilyn Foster. Steve Goings, focus on Shelton by our Community Credit Union. All in the next 34 minutes here on Daybreak.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER One News Radio.
Is your business targeting the state's largest payroll? Military personnel at JBLM and Naval Base Kitsap surpass all others, and Swarner Communications gives your businesses direct reach into those markets with newspaper advertising, face-to-face events, email blasts, mobile marketing, reputation management, and more, all for one affordable price. Call Swarner Communications today, 253-584-1212.
iFIBER One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 presents Daybreak.
Always something here on Daybreak at iFIBER One News Radio, and a good morning to you. Jeff and Carol here. How you doing, Carol? It's great music, huh?
Oh, it's wonderful music. It's just toe tapping.
It is. I sometimes will pop that on in the afternoon.
Yeah, Dance with Kaiser.
American Bluegrass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the channel I'll listen to. Sports Director Sean Wells in right now, 8:27. We'll have a kind of a quick chat now and get you in for the sports report just after the 8:30 news, okay? But you were at softball yesterday, right?
Yeah, softball, a great win for Shelton, 16-6 over Capital.
Wow.
And they really put a hurting on in that second inning, 10 runs. Aurora Gooley, one of their standout players this season, got things going, and that team, they're 3-0 so far this season. Shelton is had about 4 games rained out so far.
Wow.
So they might make up a few of those, but a couple of those were non-conference games, so don't matter on in the conference standings. But they're on a roll right now and looking good, playing good defensively. Pitching was spot on, and they're going to be a fun team to watch here.
So you said 10 runs in the second inning. Does that then start some sort of, I think is it the mercy rule? Is that what they call it?
Well, they have a 10-run rule in baseball and softball in high school, but doesn't go into effect until 5 innings have at least been played. And, Capital kind of came back a little bit and got within 8, I think, a couple times in the 3rd or 4th inning. But then in that 5th inning, Shelton broke through again and increased their lead to 10, and they just called the game right there.
Oh, okay. So you'll have video highlights on the website later today from that matchup. You're going to be at the Wilson game tonight for soccer, and the soccer team's doing pretty good, looking pretty good.
Yeah, I was out there on Tuesday. Shelton took on Foss and won that game 3-1. Santi Lopez had 2 goals for the High Climbers. A really nice performance. They're kind of on a roll too, playing good ball here at home. Wilson's going to be a tough competition though. They're one of the top teams in the Narrows Conference, so it should be a fun one to watch tonight.
8:30 here. We're talking with Sports Director Sean Wells. Did you just have something? And we are just waiting, anticipating our call-in for the Edward Jones Stock Report. Other sports notes that we're going to talk about in the sports report, the Final Four is this weekend, Saturday, right?
That's correct.
Carol's and I's brackets were busted last weekend, and so I haven't really been paying attention.
Mine's hanging in there. I have Oklahoma winning the championship, so I'm still alive.
What do you think about that? You think they're going to pull it off still?
Well, I think right now North Carolina's by far the favorite.
I heard something about this. The size of the stadium is causing teams to shoot lower percentages.
Yeah, it's not meant for basketball to be played in football stadiums.
Yeah,
so it's kind of hard with that depth perception.
Let's talk about that a little bit more out in the sports report, because I think that's a pretty interesting subject here. 8:30 though now, and on the line from Edward Jones, Karen Shade.
Well, I'm sorry you've got Sherry this morning.
Oh, no sorry at all. Sherry, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
We're well on a beautiful day.
Yes, it is.
How is Wall Street?
Well, this morning the U.S. stocks are a little changed on the final day of the first quarter for financial markets. In economic news, initial jobless claims rose more than expected last week, while continuing claims declined in the previous week. In a separate report, manufacturing reports out of Milwaukee and Chicago showed gains that exceeded expectations. Investors now turn their attention to Friday's non-farm payroll data for indications of the strength of the world's biggest economy. U.S. bond prices are higher. So far this morning in the S&P 500, the best sector is technology and the worst is basic materials. The Dow Jones average is up 25.45 at 17,742. The Standard & Poor's is up 1.25 at 2,065. The NASDAQ index is up 12.45 at 4,881. This morning's volume on the New York Stock Exchange is moderate, with 182.97 million shares traded. Advancers and decliners are eventually matched on the day. In economy markets, gold is up $9.97 to $1,234.97. Silver is up 17 cents to $15.39. Oil is up 27 cents to $38.59. In bond markets, the 30-year Treasury is currently at 2.63%, and the 10-year is currently at 1.81%. In local stocks today, we have Amazon, which is down 70 cents. Costco is up 94 cents. Boeing is down $2.41. Starbucks is up 4 cents. And Microsoft is up 42 cents. This is Sherry Smith of Edward Jones, a member of the SIPC, serving individual investors with personalized attention and long-term financial advice. We can be reached at 1051 Southeast State Route 3, Suite E in Shelton. You can give us a call at 426-4590. Have a great day, everyone.
All right, Sherry, have a good one.
Bye.
Bye. 8:33 now at iFIBER ONE Newsradio. The morning news brought to you by Shelton Health and Rehabilitation.
From the iFIBER ONE Newsradio studios, I'm Marilyn Foster. We have an update on the Lake Boulevard Pioneer Way Improvement Project. Starting today through April 11th, the contractor will be installing and curing concrete curb and gutters on Lake Boulevard between University and the city limits. Starting Tuesday, April 5th at 7 a.m., the contractor will be installing concrete curb and gutters on Lake Boulevard between University and the city limits on the even-numbered addresses side of the street. Residents living on the even side of the street will not be able to park curbside or have access to and from their driveways, but can park across the street that day and night. Starting April 6th at 7 a.m., the contractor will be installing concrete curb and gutters on Lake Boulevard between University and the city limits on the odd number addresses side of the street. Residents living on both sides of the street can only park on the even side of the street that day and night. And residents on both sides of the street will still not have access to and from their driveways until Monday evening, April 11th, to allow sufficient time for the concrete to cure. But curbside parking will be allowed. This week, not only did the Washington State Legislature pass a supplemental budget, they also overrode Governor Jay Inslee's 27 vetoes. 35th District Representative Drew McEwen talked with Daybreak about that.
We did, in conjunction with the Senate, override 27 vetoes by the governor, and put that in context. The last time a bill was overridden by the legislature was in 1998. It was one bill. So there were 27 veto overrides that were done, and those bills are now officially law without the governor's support. So that was a fairly significant item last night as well.
Inslee vetoed the 27 bills on March 10th when the state legislature hadn't passed a supplemental budget during regular session. The 27 overrides came immediately after the Republican Senate agreed on a budget with the Democratic House. You can hear the full interview with Representative McEwen on the Daybreak page at iFIBER1newsradio.com. Habitat for Humanity of Mason County plans to build its 25th house in Shelton, and a groundbreaking ceremony is scheduled for tomorrow. Executive Director Marty Crow told Daybreak more about it.
Also, we're enjoying our 20th anniversary on that same day of the affiliate. In 20 years, we've built 25 homes. This last year, we spent a great deal of time supporting about 40 families in home preservation activities, helping them maintain and restore and stay in their homes. So there's a couple of efforts going on, a combination of new home construction and also preserving existing homes. So we've had a lot of fun, a lot of work's been done over the last few months.
The ceremony begins at 10 tomorrow morning on the building site at 2137 Washington Street, and the public is invited to attend. For iFIBER One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3, I'm Mary Lynn Foster.
Hi, I'm Ken Slater, the Roof Doctor. If you're like me, your family's important, so make sure that they're well taken care of. One of the best ways to do that is to provide a safe and warm home to live in. For over 50 years, the Roof Doctor has been helping families stay safe and warm by building roofs that last for generations. Our teams have some of the most experienced roofers in the area, and we only use the highest quality materials to keep your family safe, warm, and dry. That's the Roof Doctor. Give us a call.
John Cruz here. Join us this weekend on Northwestern Outdoors Radio as we tell you about not only fishing, but making some money too by participating in the Northern Pike Minnow Sport Reward Program. We'll also tell you about the great fishing at Fort Peck Reservoir, northern Montana, and the upcoming Chinook season on the Clearwater River in Idaho.
Northwestern Outdoors Radio, Saturdays at 9, Sundays at 10 on iFIBER One News Radio.
Now, from the all-new Gillis Auto Center Sports Desk, here's Jeff Slakey.
Yeah, thank you. We're going to continue our conversation this morning here with Sports Director Sean Wells after a big win, the softball team. That's good big stuff. 16-6 against the Cougs, the Capital. What else has been happening in this spring sports season?
Well, like we mentioned earlier, soccer is kind of getting underway full swing. Big one on Tuesday, and then they got a big game tonight against Wilson, who's one of the top teams in the conference.
Okay.
And a home game for Shelton, looking to keep things rolling. Get a couple wins here in a row. So I'll be out there tonight getting some video footage of that contest, and should be a big crowd on hand. And baseball's underway, kind of having a tough start to the season, but looking to turn things around here soon.
Have you had a chance to kind of look at the opponents and see which ones maybe could cause the high climbers a little bit of problems in any sports? You say Wilson may be good in soccer, or?
Yeah, I think Wilson is going to be one of the top dogs in soccer.
Mm-hmm.
Come baseball, I think Kitsap is good.
Okay.
North Thurston.
Yeah.
North Thurston should be decent in softball as well. But I think Shelton has a really good softball team this year, looking to make the postseason and make a run. Have a lot of good seniors on that team. and the soccer team as well. They're kind of junior heavy on that soccer team, but a lot of those kids play like seniors, and so that should be a fun team to keep an eye on.
And then moving forward into next year, too, if they're going to be all seniors.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool stuff.
Exactly.
All right, so Mariners are coming up. Felix got his last pitching in before spring training ends. Opening day is Monday against the Texas Rangers, an afternoon game. What do you think?
It comes quick, huh? Just around the corner.
Just around the corner. We're excited for it.
Yeah, Felix, he's been roughed up a little bit this spring, but it's Felix. Sure. I don't think we need to be worried.
I'm not worried.
I think he'll be ready to go here come Monday. And Robbie Cano's been heating up.
Yes.
He had 3 home runs in one game this past week. Nelson Cruz is getting his power back, it looks like, and some of these new guys to the team are starting to gel, it seems like. Aoki and Adam Lind, to name a few. So, big things. I want to temper expectations, New coach, a lot of new players, new GM. Exactly. But they have talent, and I like their pitching core, with Felix and Iwakuma. And now they got Wade Miley, and Nathan Carnes is going to make that 5th spot. And hopefully Walker can continue to improve. And then Paxton's going to start the season down in AAA in Tacoma. But, boy, he's a good man to have as that 6th starter to call up when need be. So I'm excited, and let the games begin.
Coming up also on Monday, Sean, you'll be doing our morning sports reports on Daybreak every morning. You'll have a look at the high school Mariners and different sports stories that you're working on for the video side of iFIBER1Newsradio.com.
Yeah, exactly. We'll be doing local and regional updates, so be sure to check in every morning, and we'll be doing Mariner giveaways.
Yeah, that's right. Starting on the 11th, a week after the season begins, Monday morning, the 11th, will be our first Mariners Monday ticket giveaway. So be listening for Sean's Sports Report. And he's going to talk about some, stat from the previous game, little clue. Mm-hmm. And then Carol and I are going to solicit phone calls at a certain time. And winner, whoever can answer the question correctly first, is going to get a pair of tickets to Mariners.
That's right. It's not going to be super hard.
No, I mean, we're not.
We'll see.
It's not like a Ken Jennings Jeopardy deal.
Yeah,
here. No, it's going to be.
If you watch the game, if you listen to the game, listen to Sean's report. He's going to have in there something that you probably heard already in the game, and we'll have that.
That'll be a lot of
the
fun.
question.
But Final Four, we kind of briefly talked about that. Jeff, what are your predictions?
I don't even know who's in.
I know.
I don't even.
We lost interest and we got
Indiana, right?
Yeah.
Hoosiers all the way.
Right. Yeah.
No, I honestly, I don't know. I am more interested in the size of the stadium they're playing in. It's the second year that they've played the Final Four, and it's where the Cowboys play. Is that where it is?
This is in Houston, but this is a football stadium.
Oh, so, it's Energy Field where the Texans play.
Exactly, but. So this has kind of been a debate the last couple of years. Shooting teams, I think teams are averaging around just above 30% from the field.
Yeah.
And, I mean, 3 of these teams in this field, majority of the shots they take, if not the majority, but close to it, are 3-pointers.
So
Syracuse,
what's the deal?
Oklahoma, and Villanova. Well, depth perception. Basketball's not meant to be played in an arena that size. It's hard to... When you're used to playing in a basketball arena your entire life, it's a bit different, and it's going to be interesting to see how that affects these teams that rely on these 3-point shooting. In Oklahoma, Buddy Hield shoots above 40% from threes, and he might as well. He very well could win the All-American Player of the Year this season. He's a great player to watch. We'll see how this affects his game, and I hope it doesn't, because when he's jacking up threes, he's looking like Steph Curry out there.
Yeah.
And
pretty good.
And I want to see that on Saturday. I don't want to see a bunch of bricks or God forbid air balls.
Oh yeah, in the Final Four.
Exactly. So I'm hoping they can find a way to get past it. But it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
Sports Director Sean Wells on the air with us this morning. His sports reports start Monday. It's 8:43 right now. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, Steve Goins is in for the Focus on Shelton here on Daybreak.
You're listening to Daybreak on iFIBER1 Newsradio.
Savor the savings. We're serving up a great deal at our community credit union. 1% cash back and no payments for 90 days. Do you have an auto, boat, RV, personal, or any other type of consumer loan? Get a taste of this. For a limited time, we'll treat you to 1% cash back instantly when you move your loan to our community credit union. Don't wait. Apply online at ourcu.com or visit a branch location in Shelton, Union, McClary, Elma, Montesano, or Vashon.
This is Kathy. The best way to keep current on local news and issues is by subscribing to the Mason County Journal. The importance of subscribing to the paper hit home when the marijuana businesses started cropping up in local neighborhoods and people called the paper saying they hadn't heard about the zoning changes. I had to inform the callers that this issue had been discussed in the paper for many months, and the best way to know what was happening in their community was to read the local newspaper. As a result, many of them started up a subscription. Call 426-4412 or visit masoncounty.com to start your subscription today.
Habitat for Humanity of Mason County invites you to shop their local retail stores in Belfair and in Shelton. At Habitat for Humanity stores, you'll find amazing bargains on discounted home improvement supplies, gently used furniture, and so much more. And when you shop Habitat for Humanity, your dollars are put to work helping to improve, build, and maintain affordable housing right here in Mason County. Habitat for Humanity. Let's build a strong community together.
iFIBER One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 presents Daybreak.
8:45 on a Thursday morning, and Carol, Thursdays at this time, we focus in on Shelton. Brought to you by our community credit union, and Steve Goins is in studio. Good morning, Steve.
Howdy do.
Howdy do, indeed.
Beautiful day.
It's wonderful outside.
Did you walk on down from the city?
Like I usually do. I wore my coat, but I probably didn't need to
Probably
today.
didn't need it.
Yeah. I got my sunglasses on.
You gotta have sunglasses.
That's right.
Beautiful day.
So we are talking with you about the comp plan update. There's some things that have been moving and shaking with that. Where are we at with the update?
Well, we are trying to get the word out about a scoping meeting for our environmental review. We are proposing a couple areas that we want to expand into the urban growth area, pretty large areas. One would be a employment center located basically west of the State Patrol Academy. There's a stretch of road there that is the route toward the Correction Center. Seems pretty appropriate for accommodating some commercial industrial type of development. It's also by the Ridge Motorsports Park.
Yes.
Envisioning some uses there that might complement that use there that's in the county. So that area, as well as an area south of the Shelton Hills proposed development, there's some land there that the owner would like to bring into the UGA. So we're adding those to the environmental review of our comprehensive plan update. We have a meeting scheduled on April 6th at the Civic Center, 5:30 to 7:30. That will basically review what we're proposing, and it's a chance for the public to comment on, hey, what kind of environmental issues should we be looking at as we analyze this? Are we considering, water resources, air quality? A big one's usually transportation, traffic impacts, those kinds of things. So we're taking comments on April 6th to move that forward.
Especially in that part where near the corrections and the State Patrol out there on Dayton Airport Road?
Right.
So that's already plumbed too for fiber and water, or no?
Yeah, there's a number of utilities out there, water, sewer, reclaimed water. Yeah. So, there's a lot of those pieces in place.
So that would become part of the city, or is it already in?
That would become part of the city eventually. Right now, it's in the unincorporated county, but it's more importantly, it's not even in the urban growth area. So there isn't plans for more dense type of urban development in this area. And what we're finding is there's not a lot of options for commercial and industrial development in the city. And particularly that area along Dayton Airport Road seems like a good opportunity to try to add that to our mix of things that can bring jobs and some money to the city's coffers eventually.
Yeah.
Has the city expanded much over? I mean, how much has the city expanded, really?
It's funny you ask. We were talking about this the other day. We had when I first came to the city, we did our periodic comprehensive plan update. In that round, we actually reduced the urban growth area a little bit. We needed to sort of write that with the amount of population growth that was being projected, how much land is dedicated for residential development. And there was a lot of court cases dealing with that specific issue. So in that round, we reduced, I don't know how many acres it was, but it was a reduction. We haven't had a lot of annexations over the years. I think since I've been here, we've had 2 annexations. So in that regard, there hasn't been much change. The city has been pretty stagnant in growth the last few years. So it's a good time for us to look at, how the plan is working, make some adjustments, not major adjustments, but this employment piece, I think, is an important one. And we're trying to get that right.
For the layman, what does it mean to be annexed into the city?
That is when you change your city boundary to include an area that may have been contemplated for urban development, but it's not formally in the city. Typically, that doesn't mean a great deal in terms of your land use. In many cases, those land use zoning, that type of thing is already in place. But now you're formally in the city. You might change school districts. In the case of Shelton, that usually isn't the case. Those kind of things aren't happening. But in more congested areas, there's probably more to consider. I know, for example, in Bellevue, there's a lot of discussion about changing school district boundaries and how that affects your real estate values.
Sure.
So, depending on where you are, what region you're in, the topics change. Around here, I think the main thing is people like their rural lifestyle, and the thought of being in the city feels like a big change. And that could be. But we haven't had a lot of that in the last few years to really give you an example. Yeah.
Tomorrow is the groundbreaking for the 25th home for Habitat for Humanity. It's in the city. And
in the city.
And they're taking advantage of those recent reductions that the city commission put forth. Do you guys have any idea of the outlook for this based on the reductions? Now, pay me what we're going to be seeing. I mean, if they're already able to get this first home put in.
I wish I had my Carnac envelope to my forehead thing going here.
Yeah.
We're not really sure what that's going to mean. We have been receiving, just in general, more inquiries, more activity about development. What can I do with this property? That kind of thing. I guess time will tell, and we're going to track that. We're asking applicants to give us some feedback on whether the fees had an effect on their project and what that might be. And we'll be tracking of course, the monetary changes. We need to report back to the commission, what this did and how that affected different utilities, our general fund. But yeah, I guess time will tell, Jeff. I know that when this first came about, when we were talking about the fee reductions, we did talk to Habitat. We have some property that we were trying to see if they were interested in. And I understood they were looking for a site for the 25th house. And it didn't turn out to be a property that we pointed them toward, but it turned out to be in the city.
So taking advantage of those. All right. So we've got a meeting, as you mentioned, coming up on Wednesday, the 6th. Again, the time and location.
5:30 to 7:30 at the Civic Center. We'll be there with lots of information. You can make written comments. You can provide comments to us. The comment period closes on April 15th. So that's not the close of the comment period, but it's an opportunity to get more information.
And this is regarding possible expansion of the urban growth area.
And the entire comp plan in general, but the main emphasis will be what kind of environmental issues should we be looking at as we contemplate this expansion.
All right.
Yeah.
Steve Goins from the city of Shelton, thanks for coming in.
Hey, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
Have a great weekend. It's going to be real nice.
Real nice. I'm looking forward to it.
8:53 here at iFIBER ONE News Radio. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, looks to wrap things up on a Thursday morning here on Daybreak.
listening to Daybreak on iFIBER One News Radio.
As the year's first quarter ends, we take another look at the Lions and Lambs of March. More about the misunderstood folklore on the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report. With more practical tips and useful advice, this is the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report for Thursday, March 31st, the 91st day of the year. Actress Shirley Jones shares a birthday with Christopher Walken, and in Paris, the Eiffel Tower opened on this day in 1889. That famous March weather proverb, in like a lion, out like a lamb, is put to the test today, and while March may indeed be a bit more turbulent at the beginning of the month, the origin of the phrase may have nothing to do with weather. Stargazers say the lion is a reference to the constellation Leo that was rising in the east early in the month, while the lamb is the constellation Aries, or Ram, which is now setting in the west. The coming and going of these constellations gave us the phrase, in like a lion, out like a lamb. And that is the Old Farmer's Almanac Radio Report. Learn more about astronomy online. Just go to almanac.com.
iFIBER One News Radio, 1030 KMAS and FM 103.3 presents Daybreak.
Well, good morning to you. It's 8:55 on a Thursday morning. Daybreak here. Jeff Lakey, Carol Gardner here.
45 degrees out. Sunny. Going to get up to 70. It's going to stay that way tomorrow and get better.
I almost. I didn't think about it actually this morning.
Shorts on?
I almost wore flip-flops to work today.
Oh, no.
8:55 at iFIBER One News Radio.
You don't have to see his feet, people, but I would
But
have
you would
to
have
see
to.
him.
Shorts, potentially, maybe tomorrow for the first day of April.
And,
if your profession allows it, I suppose. It is April Fool's tomorrow, so be on the lookout for any spiders on your shoulders. That was
Blue milk.
Blue milk.
He is just
traumatic.
He's been disturbed for life. We have to blame it on the blue milk. Do you drink milk?
I do.
These days. What if you see a tinge of gray?
I often see
a milk colored.
I will say, though, that I have extended the life of my cartons of milk 2 weeks after the expiration date. Still drinking it.
As long as it's not lumpy.
No.
Or smelly. Go ahead and drink it.
8:56 at iFIBER One News Radio. Dale's in tomorrow with you, Carol.
He is.
And you guys have got some great guests to talk to, including Thurston County Commissioner Bud Blake. Always fun to talk with Bud. He's a great guy to talk to. And Brad Miller from Graduation Matters Shelton will be here at 8:15. He's the board president. Little update there on Graduation Matters Shelton. An important project here in Mason County.
The place of Dr. Apostle that usually comes on each Friday.
Also, Chuck Devine will have a ski report, and Steve Kramer have a fishing report. Next week, we got some more great guests, including, though, Mariners baseball today, tomorrow, Saturday. They take the day off Sunday, so they can get ready to start regular season baseball on Monday. It's going to be an afternoon game, a noon pregame on Monday. They're in Texas. They'll be home Friday night against Oakland. So for a series against Oakland, which means Monday morning, the 11th, your first opportunity to win tickets to a Mariners game on Mariners Monday here on Daybreak on iFIBER One News Radio will be based on the series against Oakland that weekend. Sean Wells will have clues. And you can check out iFIBER1newsradio.com's sports section and sports broadcast for the full schedule. Very nice. All right, everybody, I wish you the greatest of days here today. It's going to be nice, huh? What's it peaking out? 70? 71?
71, depending if you're saying somebody's shadow or not.
It's probably 67. Have a great day. We'll be back tomorrow.